violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Nigga, do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
The search is over for a man charged with killing his ex-girlfriend. Police say they found him dead in a creek. Douglas County Police say Harold Dakers murdered Kalisha Lyons Friday at her home in Lithia Springs. Villa Rica Police say a tipster saw Dakers go into woods near the Villa Trace neighborhood. That's off Highway 78.
Wow. So the man murked his girlfriend. Then he's found dead later in a creek. I assume that he did it to himself, or maybe the family of the girlfriend pulled up and slid on him. But it just goes to show, guys, that this domestic violence stuff is definitely heating up. It's getting crazy, and you have to be careful on the partners that you choose, because these super gremlins are on demon time.
In Villa Rica, police say when officers found him, Dakers pulled a gun. They say he then ran into the creek and fatally shot. Spree in Metro. We are staying on top of this developing story. Police say an Alabama man went on a violent crime spree in Metro Atlanta, including a terrifying home invasion where he tied up the owners and kidnapped them. Channel 2's Taisha Fernandez is live in Coweta County. Ty, you've been working to figure out what exactly happened here.
And Wendy, it's a lot. Thank goodness police arrested this suspect, because what he's accused of doing on this street is terrifying. And it's not just here. He's also accused of shooting someone in Fulton County. And when police in Alabama took him into custody, they say he just kidnapped 2 girls.
Wow. This guy was on a spree for real. Dog, I'm telling you, the lawlessness is just out of control. And Coweta County is, you know, a little more country, a little more chill. So the fact that this is going on out there is different.
It's very disturbing, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable.
This woman has been temporarily living on Waterworks Road in Coweta County.
I mean, you got black women living in trailer parks, y'all. Now that's country.
Working for the folks who own this land.
We don't stay here permanently, but we spend a lot of time out here on this land working and doing certain things, and sometimes overnight.
She's on the street where police say this man, 35-year-old Michael Butler, kidnapped a couple and forced them into their own car. We found this yellow tape near the scene. Coweta deputies say the suspect made the woman tie the man up and then forced them into the car. But the woman pointed out the car had no gas. Well, the suspect pulled into a gas station. That's when the woman jumped out, ran, and called 911. Investigators say Butler jumped into the driver's seat with the man still tied up in the passenger seat and brought him back to the couple's home.
Wow. That man was doing the most. And she just took off. and left the man in the damn car with that crazy super gremlin. I mean, it's getting wild, y'all. But thankfully, they were not hurt in the process, and bro was apprehended.
Deputies say Butler tried to shoot the man tied up still at least 3 times,
Damn.
but the gun jammed.
Thank God. Wow, he was gonna delete that man for no reason, bruh. You didn't even have to do that. You could have just left.
Butler left and headed back down to Alabama. That's where police in Prattville arrested Butler. They say he kidnapped 2 young Alabama girls. Now he's facing several charges down in Alabama, and he's facing several charges in Coweta County.
Wow.
Yeah, it just puts it into perspective, right? You never think that something like that can happen so close to where you are, and to hear that story so graphically and know that that happened literally just less than a mile away, that is very disturbing.
We are working to find out what police say the suspect did in Fulton County, but what we had heard earlier, he's accused of shooting someone there. We'll stay on this. We're live in Coweta County. Taisha Fernandez, Channel 2 Action News.
There is still so much to figure out there, Ty, but it sounds like you did plenty. Thank you for that report.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Quavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since an SUV with a baby strapped inside was stolen in DeKalb County, leading to a more than 36-hour search for baby Blaze.
But here's the good news. He was eventually found safe. But then a year later, police are still trying to figure out what exactly happened to Blaze while he was missing. 11 Alive's Tracy A. McPear has a story you'll only see here on 11 Alive about why this case is still open.
So guys, I did cover the baby Blaze kidnapping when it first happened a year ago, and it was super sad, but they ended up finding the child. I did a video on when he was kidnapped, a video on when they found him, and there was a lot of people with opinions in the comments section. Some people were upset that the woman left her child in the vehicle, you know, while putting the groceries in the house. Some people were, you know, talking about the suspect and, you know, who he could be. But this is a follow-up, and I want you guys to pay attention on what really went down after the child was kidnapped.
One teen was already arrested in this case, but police tell me they think others may have been involved. Blaze's mom told me today she wants anyone involved to turn themselves in.
I'm in love. Like, I love my son. Like, he's the best.
Deanna Bray says 1 year later, her 2-year-old son Blaze is doing great.
He's a wild child, but I just love him. Like, he's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow. And, you know, that's good to hear. You know, even though she possibly is single mother, at least she is pouring love into the child. Hopefully she is going to make sure that he doesn't become a little you know, super sun glider gremlin. and he's going to do the right thing. So, you know, it looks like she is staying involved in his life, a little negligent on the, you know, taking the groceries in before your child, but we can definitely give her a pass. I'm sure she'll never make that mistake again.
She still remembers the fear she lived through when he went missing on November 10th of last year.
I wanted to rip my house apart. Like, my son is missing. Like, I wanted to put holes in the wall.
And wonders what happened to her son during the more than 36 hours he was missing. She hoped to get answers when police arrested a 17-year-old boy this past January for allegedly slipping into her SUV as she and Blaze's father were unloading it and driving off with Blaze.
I was relieved that he was.
Okay, so the father was there unloading the groceries. I don't know if they're together, married, or anything like that, but at least he's there pulling up, paying for groceries, or splitting them at least. you know, sometimes you don't have to officially have a ring to make it a family, but obviously he needs to be involved in the child's life, and hopefully something like this never happens again.
In jail, because everybody has to be accountable for what they've done.
But according to police, the teen has offered few details about what happened. Police say they recovered several fingerprints from the SUV, which was abandoned behind the Brannon Hills apartments. But only one print allegedly matches the teen who was arrested. He's charged with stealing the car, but police told 11 Alive today the case is still open. Blaze's mom says overall, she's relieved Blaze was found safe. Yet she would still like to know what happened while he was missing.
It will be more closure. It will be great to know who the other people were.
In DeKalb County, Tracy A. McPeer, 11 Alive News.
Now, a brother and sister have been killed as someone fired dozens of bullets into their home in a drive-by shooting. Happened on Old Street in Stone Mountain, and Channel 2's Tom Regan's there live today. Tom, the mother was in the house when this all happened.
Wow, that's crazy. The drive-by shootings, especially when they're spraying indiscriminately into a home, very reckless. Brother and sister deleted watching TV. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. Guys, the community's on fire. When are we going to start to realize that we need to stick together? We see what's happening to Kyrie, Kanye, and other people. Everybody's turning their back on them when they trying to spit some facts. And what the common people in the community are doing, they're just spinning on each other, shooting up folks' mama's house, day house, whatever. And, just leaving bodies behind. It's wild.
That's right, Justin. And she tells me whoever was behind this likely had an automatic weapon. More than 30 shots fired into this house on Monday night, leaving bullet holes in walls, through windows. Some even hit the solar panels on the roof. The grieving mom this afternoon asking who did this and why.
Wow.
My house is riddled up with bullets. I heard a bunch of gunshots, and I seen the light of the gunshots.
Valerie Jones told me it sounded like a machine gun. She ran from her room to the living room Monday night, where her adult children, Shantaria and Daryl Willis, were watching TV.
I saw my son laying on the ground, and so I checked him. I was checking his pulse and asked my daughter, was he okay? I mean, meaning what happened? And so, but she couldn't talk to me because she was laying on the ground as well.
Sheesh. Lost her son and her daughter. And I mean, I'm sure she's broken, but she's keeping her composure in this interview, man. This is happening every day, guys.
She says bullets fired through the wall and a window struck her children. Her daughter died on the scene, her son on the way to the hospital. Who would do this?
I have no idea.
I know who would do it. These super gremlins on Demon Time.
I don't know.
I mean, does your son or daughter have enemies or anything?
Not that I know of. These murders are senseless. My children were sitting in their home looking at TV. They did not expect to die that night.
Yeah, it could be mistaken identity. It could be, I don't know, super gremlins trying to earn stripes to get initiated in a gang or whatnot. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. Hopefully, they weren't beefing or participating in the ops culture. Specifically the young man, but I don't think that was the case. Honestly, I don't know what happened, but it's just wild that we keep having to highlight these situations over and over and over again, and they're getting overlooked for sure. I mean, when I drop this video, fingers crossed, but hopefully we get good views and engagement. But y'all know what they doing to this channel. They don't want the message to get out there. They don't want people to wake up. They don't want the super gremlins to stop destroying the community. Okay? Y'all got to wake up, man.
She says her daughter, who had a warehouse job, leaves behind 2 children. Her son, an electrician, yet to become a father.
I would never have my grandchildren. My son hadn't had a child yet. I would never know a child from him.
She says she hopes police soon find who fired the bullets into her home, killing her precious children.
The violence, people against people, black against black, humans against humans.
You heard what she said. People against people. Black against black. Ding, 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 ding. Humans against humans. It's blacks against blacks. Most of the time. Most of the time when these things happen, that's what it is. Bro. This one hurts for sure.
Violence, people against people, black against black, humans against humans. That's not right in no sense. It's senseless.
Well, at this point, police don't have any suspects nor a motive. A GoFundMe page has been set up by the family to help with funeral expenses. You can find out more on how to donate at WSBTV.com. Live in Stone Mountain, in DeKalb County, Tom Regan, Channel 2 Action News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Oh shit, I was muted. Okay. What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get into the video. All right, guys. So another live stream, another demonetized session here. You know, we're working with what we got. I'm going to be posting the videos that I basically did when I wasn't able to, you know, go on live on Black Gen Z Mindset from BGZM News 17. So I advise you guys to go to BGZM News 17 and subscribe over there. Link is in the description. We're also going live on Rumble. We're going live on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, Black Gen Z Mindset or BGZM News 17. And you can holla at me on Twitch, guys. We're trying to build up all the channels because we need options. You know, YouTube is not playing with us. They're not sparing no bread, you know, to keep the movement going. So we're gonna have to just tread the waters on our own, which is fine. But I do want to talk about this Kanye thing, and we're just gonna go ahead and straight break down the whole interview straight from start to finish that he did with Alex Jones. That man is doing the most, okay? He's doing the most. It seems like he is going through some type of raging phase before maybe he kind of calms down and gets a succinct message. But I was behind Kanye on some of the things that he was saying, not in this interview particularly because I haven't watched it, but with things in the past, as you guys know, like the George Floyd situation and the red media, as he liked to call it. Okay. But now he's doing the most. He's doing the most. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of sad at the same time as well. Obviously, it seems like he's doing it for entertainment purposes. I just say that next album is going to be fire. Or it's just going to be like super trash. So who knows? But we're going to break down the interview. Okay. We are going to break down the whole thing from start to finish. So let's get it. Okay. Let's see what's going on there. All right. Hold up.
This is INFOWARS, right? So you got some info warriors on both sides of you, and you fought for us. You've been fighting this battle for a long.
Hold up. This shit wildin'. It's not letting me go to the full screen. Hold on. God dang. Give me 1 second. I might have to back out and then just like click the link again. Jeez. But once I tried to share the screen, it was bugging. Let's see. Nigga Kanye wildin'. Oh, I'm so dead, bro. This shit is crazy as hell. All right. Oh, let's go there. Boom. Let's get it. All right. What the fuck?
INFOWARS, right? So you got some info warriors on both sides of you, and you fought for us. You've been fighting this battle for a long time, Alex, and we just got to salute you as a Christian and as American because you paved the way to make break.
So I do want to stop him there. Yo, shout out to Alex Jones. He's going through some crazy shit right now. They're trying to hit him over the head for over $1 billion. You know, Alex Jones, he is a character for sure, but he was always bringing some solid information. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. You know, he might have made some mistakes here and there, and he was, you know, he was a comical figure. But at the end of the day, bro, Alex Jones really was on some real shit. Okay, he really was, bro. And Kanye, as you can see, he's rocking the Pooh Shiesty mask. Obviously, he's not rocking the BGZM News 17 Net Gator Pooh Shiesty mask, but that's neither here nor there. You guys should be rocking it, especially this winter, because it's going to get cold. And I want to see you guys maybe send me some pictures of you with the merch. But yeah, man, Kanye is acting a damn ass, okay? And he has the Holy Bible right there with him. My thing is, I don't think he's picked up his Bible. I don't think he's reading his Bible at all. And if he is, I don't know. You know, he's wilding. Like my Bible, it has notes in it. I got sticky notes in it, all types of stuff, because I'm really trying to break some things down and get a better understanding of the message. But Kanye, it looked like he just bought it for the show, honestly. But let's watch.
Braver soldiers like us today. It's like Terminator Part 10 happening right now.
Free shipping is back at InfoWarsStore.com. Free shipping is back.
All right, this nigga is plugging his shit. I can't fast forward it, so it is what it is. We just gonna have to watch the commercial.
At InfoWarsStore.com on orders of $50 or more. And the other orders, you've seen the prices on that.
That nigga try to get that money up for the lawsuit, bro. There's no way he's paying that back at all. I mean, he filed for bankruptcy. I seen that, but damn, they fucked homie up. And his wife divorcing him. Look, bro, this is what I'm gonna say. When it comes to that Sandy Hook shit, this is what I'm gonna say. Obviously, he was dead wrong. But when that shit happened, though, like right after it happened, people were making some decent points about this person showing up here and these two people being at the same area. I mean, they was linking some shit together. That's all I'm gonna say. Obviously, Adam Lanza was out of his motherfucking mind, and he had issues. And what went down, okay? But like I was saying, there were some people online who at the time, and this was early YouTube, they were piecing some things together, and they was like, yo, why is this person showing up here? And yo, why is this person showing up here? And they're here as well. It was just some weird shit going on, and people were questioning it. It was a weird time because we were seeing these mass shootings going on a lot more frequently. Now we just kind of accept it, but people were trying to get to the bottom of it. So you can't get mad at people for trying to get to the bottom of it. But what they did was, you know, he pushed that narrative way too hard for show. He should have just like kind of presented the evidence and just said, I don't know what happened, but it's weird. But I remember back in the day when that shit first happened, like people were questioning it and being like, yo, like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? I don't know the full details. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember that people were questioning that shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
/ as well. Check out InfoWarsStore.com today.
INFOWARS, the most banned network in the world.
It's Thursday, December 1st, 2022. I'm your host, Alex Jones, and in studio, Ye is our guest. He's going to be here, it says, for the next 3 hours or so, and also America First leader, and that is Nick Fuentes, Ollie Alexander, Owen Schroyer, and many others are also going to be coming through here today.
Nick Fuentes pulled up in the hoodie.
And Ye has arrived in a new ensemble here with us, but I'll assure you it is.
And I do find issue, and I know Ye is eccentric and all that kind of stuff, but I do find it, I just don't like the fact that he pulled up with the mask. It makes it seem like he was scared to look people in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Honestly.
Is Ye, thank you so much for coming to Austin.
Thank you for having me.
Well, where would you like to start? This first little 5-minute segment is just kind of a prelude to what's coming up. What do you want to cover here today?
Just God runs the world, and Jesus is the way and the life, and it's time to put Jesus first in the way that we run our businesses, the way we run our families, our businesses, and the way we run our country.
You're for radio listeners, Ronald.
And that was very vague. I mean, I get what he's saying, but at the same time, I think he be taking the Lord's name in vain. I ain't gonna cap. Like, he be using Jesus for everything. It's like, bro, you can't just say some bullshit and then throw Jesus on the back end like, all is forgiven because Jesus. It's like, bro, it's crazy. He done. I don't know who his pastor is. I don't know who his counsel is, but like I said, bro, I don't believe Kanye is actually a Christian. I believe he is actually the opposite of a Christian, just due to, watching his music videos, the way that he's been moving, seeing his lyrics and all that kind of stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Let's keep watching. I still fuck with Kanye, but that nigga is absolutely wilding. He's making hella mistakes. A bad role model at the end of the day is what it comes down to. He should have kept his mouth shut.
Over 400 radio stations, they can't see you right now. This is a new look for you.
Oh no, I've been wearing a mask for a while.
Guys, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App.
Yeah. So this is an archetypal example that the mask is off by putting the mask on.
People can take it how they want to take it. It's just, it's interesting. If you look at a Michael Jordan or something, you would load up all these pictures and he's smiling and he's holding a basketball, he's jumping from the free throw line. And then you look at Phil Knight and you barely can see a picture of him and he's got his face covered. So I don't have to show my face. It's me. That's my right.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Absolutely. Well, that's what Hollywood wants to do, though, is to control everybody through images.
Exactly. So I'm in control of my image now.
Nah, see, that went right over his head. See, the issue is, like, Hollywood controls you with images, but the producers and the executives and the directors are pretty anonymous. You don't really hear much about them. Obviously, they're in the credits if you care to look through everyone, but who really stays for the credits in the movies unless it's a Marvel movie or DC movie? Who's really staying after the credits? Okay, so that's what he meant by that, Kanye. I think that kind of went over his head. I'm not familiar with that jacket that he got on, so I'm gonna check that out.
It's no longer the people that froze my account. It's no longer the people that threatened me. We've got past the threats. They tried to throw me in jail for the truth. And, people believe me. And people see that I wasn't crazy on what I was talking about. And they tried to write it off, and they keep trying to write it off. But the truth is, the more and more I'm faithful to Christ, the more and more he's going to keep unlocking the blessings. He set it on my heart to build communities, to build farms, to build schools, to build the choir. But when you do that, you have to be really obedient. Hey guys, could you not talk in the back? I'm like really hypersensitive to sound. If you guys want to talk, just go in another room, please. But we have to be really obedient.
That nigga checking people in the back.
You know, like one of the big topics right now is all of the pedophilia advertisement. And my take on that is, you know, there's one place in the Bible where it says God sees sin differently. And there's another place where it says, you know, let me get out my phone. I can like really pull up the exact thing it says in the Bible.
Bro, what the hell? He got the Bible right there.
The general gist, and we'll get back to it after the 5-minute break, is that you have to stay strict to everything and remove as much sin as possible in order to serve God. And when people look at pornography, when a grown man is looking at a grown woman have sex on camera, you're still looking at someone's daughter, and you're looking at a lot of times someone that is the product of pedophilia.
Okay. So he's making a decent point there with you know, the women who involve themselves in adult films. They usually come from backgrounds where they might have been touched on, but I think that's kind of changing now. I think that a lot of girls are going into intercourse work with Instagram and OnlyFans just because they're hot enough to do so. So a lot of that's kind of switching up now. So, but I do get his point.
So people will engage in going to strip clubs or looking at pornography, but then the moral compass is like, oh my God, look at the pedophiles. But in a way, anybody who looks at pornography is a form of a pedophile also.
Nah, hell nah. He bugging now. Look, you know, we can say whatever we want about adult films. They do serve a purpose. I'm not saying that they're good, but it does serve a certain purpose as long as, you know, you don't make that your life. Everybody has a vice. I'm not here to say what should be and shouldn't be legal. Okay. But it's definitely not the same thing as being interested in underage individuals. For sure. So he's trying to do this, oh, every sin is equal. And I'm not really big on that every sin is equal thing. Yes, I mean, you'll be judged for every sin for sure. But like the every sin is equal, I don't know. It's levels to this sin and shit for sure.
Let's bank it all in. It's very simple. We're not going to be talking about all this moral code and these standards right here. It's either Christ said so or Christ said no.
Yay, powerful information. I totally agree with you. Back in 60 seconds to join over 400 radio stations. Nick Fuentes in the studio. Everybody, tell everybody you know, tune in now, Infowars.com/show. Let's break the internet today. Stay with us. Well, make no mistake, this Thursday, December 1st, 2022 broadcast is beyond the Twilight Zone because truth is stranger than fiction. Yay. Maybe more controversial than Alex Jones or Donald Trump now. I mean, we're about the most controversial people in the world, and obviously the most attacked and demonized. He's here. Nick Fuentes is here as well. America First. We're going to have Ali Alexander on.
Yeah, I think Kanye is a ticking time bomb. Guys, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, show some love. But Kanye is not looking good at all.
On Owen Schroyer, this thing's going to go for the next 3+ hours as long as Ye wants to go. Some stations don't carry the first 5, but you just dropped some bombs that I totally agree that are huge, Ye. So recap that and continue on, sir.
Okay, so I looked this up. It's about sin. That's what we're going to talk about, sin today, and how we need to do everything that we can. We're imperfect, but to free ourselves of sin and repent for sin throughout the day, at night, and in the morning. So, right.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I just, this nigga is speaking like, I don't know, like he's a kid or something, man. He's talking like he's a little kid. It's crazy. I don't know if that's that Harley Pasternak special that got him tripping like that or what, but my man his mind, you can tell, is just not piecing it all together.
Right here, the Bible says right here, I know I'm going to do a Corinthians 2, like Trump, new Christian kind of reading of this. So bear with me. I love Jesus, but I'm not the most, experienced Christian. And it says the book of Proverbs 6:16-19. I'm sure that's the wrong way to read it.
It's okay. You got the floor.
Okay.
Damn, this nigga don't even know how to read the damn Bible. Shit.
Identify 7 things that God hates, although there are not any punishments prescribed for those.
Hold on. Oh man, I wish I could run it back. Shit. Oh, here we go. Let's run it back a little bit.
Okay, agree that are huge yay. So recap that and continue on, sir.
Okay, so I looked this up. It's about sin. That's what we're going to talk about, sin today, and how we need to do everything that we can. We're imperfect, but to free ourselves of sin and repent for sin throughout the day, at night, and in the morning. So right here, the Bible says right here, I know I'm going to do a Corinthians 2, like Trump, new Christian kind of reading of this. So bear with me. I love Jesus, but I'm not the most, experienced Christian. And it says the book of Proverbs 6:16.
Okay, so we got our Bibles with us. He said the book of Proverbs 6:16. Let's see what my man is talking about here. Okay. 6:16 now. And I mean, it's interesting that he chose this verse, and I'm gonna tell you why. 6:16 through 19 is what he said. Okay. I don't know. If y'all are into like the numerology, I find it very interesting, but I could just be grasping at straws here.
-19. I'm sure that's the wrong way to read it.
It's okay. You got the floor.
Okay. Identify 7 things that God hates, although there are not any punishments prescribed for those. Scripture clearly indicates that God does view sin differently, and that he prescribed.
This nigga must got a new international or some, I don't know what the tail version he got. He got some plain English shit. Because I don't know if he's skipping around or... Because what the hell? Hold up.
He proscribed a different punishment for sin depending upon its severity. Now watch this one. It says, where the phrase all sins are equal in the eyes of God comes from. As far as I can tell, the most common argument for the belief that all sins are created equal comes from the book of James 2:10. It's
okay, so I guess he wasn't reading straight from scripture. The scripture that he was referring to was the 7 deadly sins. In the passage goes, and this is Proverbs 6:16 through 19. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies. Ooh, is Kanye guilty of that? And a person who stirs up conflict in the community. It says community, but I say community because we got a lot of conflict stirring up in the community.
States, for whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it.
Okay, so he's referring to James 2:10, and basically, okay, so yes, what he's saying is technically true. Now, I don't necessarily align with every sin is equal and all that kind of stuff, but what he's saying technically is the rule. Okay.
Now, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs, even though he did create Apple. And if you notice, the logo of Apple is actually the fall of man, the
forbidden fruit,
the bitten apple.
Yeah.
Right. So we can get into, what social media has done to families and all that. We got 3 hours, right? But I like the way our incredible American inventors like Disney and Hughes and Steve Jobs, the way they ran their companies and invented things that changed the world. And the way Steve ran his company was his version of a sinless office. Everyone had to be so meticulous to be able to take what was 10 things at one time and make it and put it in the palm of our hand.
Okay, so what he was talking about was James 2:10, and the passage goes, "For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it." Okay, all of it. So you know, you break one law, you've broken them all, essentially. So every sin is weighed equal. That's where that concept comes from. Yeah, a lot of issues going on here. But do I necessarily think that? No. I mean, shit. If you're like one of these people who are, you know, doing what Balenciaga is on that type of time, which Balenciaga, honestly, they didn't even get really canceled. There's a video that is on Instagram where it shows 6ix9ine and Aiden Ross actually going into the Balenciaga store, and it was not canceled at all. Okay, it was not canceled at all. I'll pull that up too, because people were still shopping at Balenciaga no matter what their little campaign said, and I think that was a test to say, hey, are the people okay with it? Will they still fund us even though they know this is the imagery that we're putting out? Sure they will, because it's rich people shit, and they, you know, people who rocking that type of stuff want to feel like they got some shit that nobody else has or can't afford. So some crazy shit.
Think about an iPhone. It's your fax. It's your email. It's your phone.
And now it's 1,000 things.
Yeah, it's your camera. It's your flashlight. Yeah, it's like 1,000 things in it. But he had to have his army go in with a sinless approach. And right now, you know, God called Gideon to make an army, the 300, the real 300, not the movie version, that were all focused on serving this mission at the time. So we have a mission right now to save our families from social media, from Zionist control, and bring Jesus Christ back to the forefront. And we're protected. You know, I don't have security. My security is the angels. My security is the fact that I didn't load up pornography last night.
I mean, Kanye just he should have a bitch on call at this point. He shouldn't be having to load up no porn. But anyways, this is proof that Balenciaga is absolutely not canceled, and nobody cares that they did a photo shoot with kids promoting adult sexual acts.
Pop them, go in there. You know what you did in that Twitter. Why are you
Baby.
What do you do?
God damn it, you know what you did to them kids, just like that. You know what Ben Hill did. That's why he got money. Hell no.
So they're making a little joke. That wasn't the actual video. They were just making a joke. But let me actually pull it up. Okay, here we go. I think it was Aiden Ross or Steve will do it. I'm not really sure. I'm not saying all white people look alike, but all right, let's get into it. Let's go.
All right, guys, we're at Balenciaga. I was going to say everything I saw on the internet is fake because there's hella people here.
Sir? You have ID?
I like little girls.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, that's funny, especially since 6ix9ine actually had a situation where he was accused of you know, some sexual acts with a minor or contributing to the delinquency at the least, and he had those charges pretty much wiped away. But you know, it was a pretty funny joke, honestly.
All right, guys, we're at Balenciaga. I was going to say everything I saw on the internet is fake because there's hella people here.
Sir? You have ID?
I like little girls.
Thank you.
And it wasn't a little girl in the photo shoot. Just to be clear, it was a little boy. So you actually have to like little boys in order to get into Balenciaga, not little girls.
But there's so many people right here.
So much people.
There's so many people. Everything you see on the internet is so fake.
The employee's like, what? Look at this nigga face. All right, we're back. The devil is working overtime, guys. It's wild out here. I don't know, man. The technical difficulties is crazy. Some random, my computer just shut down randomly. So, failed. But let's see. Okay. So let me share the screen again. Why is it not working? Hold on. Bro, what the hell? All this freezing up and shit. Bro, they are on my ass. Now I done lost my place in the damn Kanye video. Jeez, man. But anyways. Yeah, so here's the Aiden Ross or no, 6ix9ine and Steve Will Do It. Balenciaga is not canceled.
On the internet is fake. Because there's
You have
hella
ID,
people here.
sir? You have ID?
I like little girls.
All right.
Thank you. But there's so many people right
Is it all
here.
right? Come right in.
There's so many people. Everything you see on the internet is so fake. Because there's so many people in here.
Look at this.
Bro, there's so many people in here. There are so many people in here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're at Balenciaga. I just want to say everything I saw on the internet is fake. Because there's
You have
hella
ID,
people here.
sir? You have ID?
I like little girls.
All right.
Thank you.
That was funny as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. That was hilarious. But anyways, guys, like the video. Y'all see YouTube working overtime to delete a brother from the web. So let's keep watching.
Christian kind of reading of this, so bear with me. I love Jesus, but I'm not the most experienced Christian. And it says the book of Proverbs 6:16-19. I'm sure that's the wrong way to read it.
It's okay. You got the floor.
Okay. Identify 7 things that God hates, although there are not any punishments prescribed for those. Scripture clearly indicates that God does view sin differently, and that he proscribed a different punishment for sin depending upon its severity. Now watch this one. It says where
my nigga can barely read. God damn.
The phrase all sins are equal in the eyes of God comes from. As far as I can tell, the most common argument for the belief that all sins are created equal comes from the book of James 2:10. It states, "For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it." Now, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs, even though he did create Apple. And if you notice, the logo of Apple is actually the fall of man, the
forbidden fruit,
the bitten apple, right? So we can get into, what social media has done to families and all that. We got 3 hours, right?
He didn't even have the Apple symbol on the back of his phone, though.
But I like the way our incredible American inventors like Disney and Hughes and Steve Jobs.
So, I mean, if you know anything about Disney and, some of the things that they are accused of being involved in, I'm not going to go too deep, but, you wonder why he's praising people like this. That's all I'm saying.
The way they ran their companies and invented things that changed the world. And the way Steve ran his company was his version of a sinless office. Everyone had to be so meticulous to be able to take what was 10 things at one time and put it in our hand. Think about an iPhone. It's your fax. It's your email. It's your phone.
And now it's 1,000 things.
Yeah, it's your camera. It's your flashlight. Yeah, it's like 1,000 things in it. But he had to have his army go in with a sinless approach. And right now, God called Gideon to make an army, the 300, the real 300, not the movie version, that were all focused on serving this mission at the time. So we have a mission right now to save our families from social media, from Zionist control, and bring Jesus Christ back to the forefront. And we're protected. I don't have security. My security is the angels. My security is the fact that I didn't load up pornography last night. And I said, this addiction is going to have to flee from me. This addiction since I was 5 years old that has destroyed my mom and my dad's family, that destroyed my family. Like, when I take full accountability for the destruction, of my marriage, I'll point at the liberals and say, you took my wife from me. You know what took my wife from me? The fact that I was married to this beautiful person, but I felt like it wasn't enough.
Bruh, the fact that he's still claiming Kim K is crazy. And that just goes to show this whatever he's going through right now is severely tied to his divorce from Kim K. Big L.
I felt like I still needed to look at pornography. In some way, I'd say to her, well, stop making these images, stop breaking the internet, that original term.
And isn't that crazy, though? So his girl is basically known for being a porn star. She still posts sexy pictures online. She's stunned on him, but then when he watches porn, she gets mad. It's fucking bullshit.
Comes from my ex-wife actually having a nude photo that I didn't know about, that someone used her and put her on a magazine. But there's somewhere where she's like, well, if my husband is looking at this, I still want to be like the girls that are doing this. And this becomes people reliving the traumas, pushing the addiction. The pornography industry is not even a big industry. It's like less than $10 billion, right? So that means that it's not used for prosperity, it's used for disparity.
I don't know about all that. I mean, the Hub is like the #1 site on the internet, damn near. They making a bag, and these OnlyFans hoes is making a bag too.
By the way, George Orwell wrote in 1984, and he'd been the #2 guy in PSYOPs for OSS and ran propaganda for the British government. But he found out that he didn't like Hitler, but he found out that they were actually manipulated and created him. He didn't like the communists. He'd been one of them. He found out the British intelligence had actually created that and done that. And he explained in 1984 that pornography is something to destroy families, destroy our souls, and get us to commit. He wasn't even a big Christian, but get us to debase ourselves so that they could control us.
Absolutely. You got alcohol and pornography are these legal drugs. Alcohol is a spirit. We're gonna go into the spirit of alcohol. Let's just go to the facts today. Let's not just even do opinions. And I love how you brought that in, because now you got God's warriors coming together. Right now, okay, Nick Fuentes doesn't have a Twitter account. Alex Jones doesn't have a Twitter account. But hey, guess what, Elon? I got a Twitter. And today I'm going to have Nick and Alex tweet from my account. You like that, Ari Emanuel?
I'm all about free speech.
That's
And the
hilarious.
greatest threat is those that want to silence us. This is why it comes First Amendment. Anybody trying to take your speech is the enemy.
I mean, it's not much that I can really commentate. I mean, we're just watching it together, honestly. You know, Kanye hasn't really steered off too crazy so far, but I'm sure it's going to get a lot wilder throughout the stream. So let's keep watching.
Absolutely. Well, and it's I do find it a little bit hypocritical that Elon Musk said that he was purchasing Twitter to create a free speech environment. He says that free speech is the thing that's going to save the West and our civilization. But yet he has taken exception to you, Alex, for some seemingly specific reason, maybe personal to him, but definitely not principled. So I think it's time that the people finally demand a real victory here. We've been at war essentially since Trump came down the golden escalator 7 years ago to put America first, to put Christ first, to free the internet and do these kinds of things. And here we are all this time later, and it seems like we've stagnated or in some ways maybe even taken a step back. So it's time that people demand we want Christ first, we want America first, we want Alex Jones back on Twitter. These are just and reasonable demands.
Well, I see it like this, and I want you to be able to elaborate on this. I want Ye to get his run because he's got so much to say and he always gets cut off, but I'm going to try to shut up as much, but we can go 4 or 5 hours. Main shows actually 4 hours long. I was just hoping for 3. We'll do 4 hours if you guys are up for it. But here's what I'm saying. I am a classical liberal at heart, so I love everybody and I judge people by what they do, not what color they are. And then I look at the things you said, and some of them out of context I don't agree with, but compared to a liberal, a modern liberal saying white people are inherently evil and white people are bad because of their skin color. And then that's what the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center and these leftist groups in Hollywood have pushed. So they're putting out something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And Alex Jones has always spoken about that, how they're demonizing one group of people, maybe based off of things that happened in history. Meanwhile, it's just controlled. It's just conquer and divide because like you have the people who are in charge, you know, who have the billions of dollars, whatnot, even trillions, damn near, who are really calling the shots. You know, the Federal Reserve and all that type of shit. You know, the media, all of it is just tied together. But you have these people who, you know, they look white. A lot of them are small hats, but they're talking about, oh, you know, demonize white people in the media. And you wonder why this is. And it's divide and conquer, man. And so we definitely have to be more vigilant and learn to come together. There's a lot of divisiveness, but I think most of the division is based off of you kind of, this is what I'll say. There are like batshit crazy people on the left for sure who aren't going to change their mind about anything. And they've all like just kind of been indoctrinated. So like, even if you are like a reasonable person who's like, yeah, well, we don't want to take away birth control or just like to, you know, bring this as an example. Like, we don't want to take away birth control or condoms or anything like that, or Plan B pills, but, you know, we're not really big on abortion. Like these people, they can't even concede on the point of abortion, especially when you start talking about like how long, then it just goes too crazy. So they want it to be like, you know, however long, you know, up until the pregnancy, you can terminate the pregnancy. That's really how far they go. And they just take it too far, and they're in positions of power right now. As you can see, that man Herschel fumbled the Senate. Herschel fumbled the Senate, man. That's really what it is, man. It's fucked up. I don't think they should have ran Herschel. It was just a bad decision overall. And he got to the 1 yard line and fumbled in overtime.
beyond even what Hitler said, but reversing it onto white people, and we're supposed to sit there and accept it. And then Ye comes out and says, hey, I see kind of a mafia running things, and then he's the devil. No, that's bullshit. Sorry.
All right, we're going to curse a little bit less on this.
Yes, Reverend. I'm going to try. I'll stop.
And the reason I wanted Nick, people have heard from Nick, but people haven't heard from Nick with Ye standing right next to him. It's like that's the thing that the Zionists control, the 300 in control of the media and control of the governments. They don't want us to connect to each other. Like my dad said, okay, they say you're anti-Semitic, but they say he's a white supremacist. And he's asking me, well, what's the difference? I said,
and we already broke down the Semite thing and the line of Shem and all that kind of stuff. We've broken down how they use the anti-Semitic trope to demonize people and silence them and whatnot. It's not something that we have to really dive into again. If you want to see my take on it, just go back to the most exclusive religion on earth. Why don't white Jews want black Jews to what is it called again? That's pretty much basically what it is, like if you search it. But let me just get the title really quick so y'all can go search it. Okay, so the video is the most exclusive religion on earth. Why don't white Jews accept black Jews into their religion? All right, so that is where you can kind of see how I break all of it down.
Dad, there is no difference. It's just separation and confusion. They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein.
That's what Jesus did.
Yes, because Jesus.
I mean, and I agree. I mean, you can always go and have the conversation and try and save somebody, if you will. Obviously, not everybody is going to accept that. And, even sometimes it could get you in some trouble. But I don't think that there's an issue having the conversation in a controlled setting. There's some people who will say, oh, I would never sit down with Harvey Weinstein. I would never sit down with Jeffrey Epstein. But, it ain't like you breaking bread with the motherfucker. It's like, dog, like, how the fuck could you do this? Like, you got questions. You want to know shit. It's interesting to pick the brains of these, severely evil people.
Can save everyone. But if the Zionists can get us so afraid that they're going to do what they've been doing to me, attempting to put me in jail, freeze my accounts, smearing me on the media, all of these things, you put on the whole armor of God and they will not be able to break your spirit.
And by the way, we can do 3 hours on this subject, and you do 5 hours on it. And let's just get it all going now, because I want to get into everything about your plans to try to bring jobs to America, unifying people, running for president, all those other issues. So I'm not.
Lord have mercy. Don't let this nigga run for president.
Steering us away from that. I'm just saying, let's just run with it as far as you guys want to go. And then I want to get into all the other topics that surround things.
Oh, beautiful. So where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, I would just start with this. There are good people from every group and every type of culture, and we all know that.
For sure.
But definitely the left, when it was America defeated Hitler, calls their opposition Hitler. When both my grandfathers almost died in the Army Air Corps, both of them almost died. One of them crash landed after a mission and got all broke up. The other one got hit in a German air raid in North Africa, and he'd only done like 18 of his missions. And then he had a concussion, and he was the captain. And then his buddies went up the next day and blew up over Italy. He was always freaked out, but I never really talked about it until he died. But when he died, we read the letters and all the awards he had and stuff and the things he did after that. And then, re-upping and recommitting to the Army Air Corps. So I take it as an offense to have George Soros and people that actually work for Hitler rounding up people tell me I'm a Nazi when I almost don't exist when my grandfathers went over there. So I got a lot to say about this as well. It's just nuanced with the whole thing that's going on. But expanding on that, give us, because I want you to go wherever you want. So let's just have you talk for 10, 15 minutes more before me and we got a lot to hear from Fuentes and he needs to be heard, but we want to hear from.
Yeah, he's learning this from the mistakes of Timcast. He's like, I don't want this guy to walk out. I can get a 3-hour interview. I mean, Alex Jones can clip this shit into oblivion and make that 1 billion back. Okay, just off of Kanye's name alone.
From Ye, go ahead.
Well, I said with Ali Alexander and Nick Fuentes that we're like the SWAT team of free thought. And I go on with this battle ram at the door, and then they come in with these laser beams and have that information. And we work together as a team. A lot of times in media, they want to single out one person and burn them to the core. That is a Zionist approach. And they're asking me to use that same approach. Well, hey, don't say all people, just say specifically the businessmen. And then I go on Lex Friedman.
Yeah. And I do agree with that. I 100% agree with that. You have people who are only interested in themselves. You have people who are pretty much controlling the trajectory of where our lives are headed in the future, especially our economy, our way of life, the quote unquote American way of life. You know, it's all being ran into the ground by a specific group of individuals who control pretty much everything. And then they have puppets everywhere. I know you guys have heard of, you know, these crypto billionaires just dropping like flies. And that's because a lot of people are tired of the centralized money and the central banks, and they're pushing for decentralized currency. And these people don't want that. And they're willing to get their way by any means necessary, whether it's whacking, you know, a crypto billionaire or whacking a fucking inventor of some new technology that can decentralize currency, or whacking a fucking US president. It doesn't matter. They're getting rid of whoever the fuck they want to get rid of. It's a very scary situation. and nobody ever I'm not going to say nobody ever believes in the you know, the quote unquote conspiracy. But people are just accepting the narrative. Like, nobody is really, I'm not going to say nobody, but you have people talking about the Epstein shit, but yeah, not really anymore. Okay. It's pretty much dead. And we didn't ever get like official intel and information on who was going to them damn islands, because these people could still be in positions of power today, and we'll never know. We'll never know. And I'm gonna just go to the little crypto billionaire bro shit. Bro was, I mean, they say he was going through some shit and all this kind of stuff, but I mean, he probably was, they was applying pressure. So yeah, he gonna freak out and he's gonna be like unstable and shit like that. So I do want to go to bro's tweet. So this I get his name is Nikolai Mushegian. Nikolai Mushegian. I believe his parents were like Russian. This was his Twitter delete shitcoin. And the day before he drowned with all of his clothes on and his wallet on hand, he tweeted, CIA, Mossad, and pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. So bro is pretty much putting it out there. Next day he ends up dead. Could be a coincidence, or could be you know, he was deleted. You also have another Russian tycoon who died in a helicopter accident. You know, people are definitely being deleted out here. Another Bitcoin billionaire in July 2nd found dead. So people are making fun on Twitter and all this kind of stuff. But it's crazy. This is another tweet from him. Sunday night, conditions met, surprise discovery, new opportunity. Now all in on timeline shifting, insanity index, quantum immortality, but for human civilization, a bet that there is no future where negative sum banker global slave agenda doesn't end in extinction. Wish me luck. So it looks like he was doing some projecting as to the future of the global affairs would go, and he was, you know, creating alternate realities or scenarios maybe in his head or with some type of AI or simulator about the destinations that we could all be facing in the future. And he's basically like, no future ends with a good ending. Basically 3 possible futures for me: 1, suicided by CIA; 2, CIA brain damage slave asset; 3, worst nightmare of people who fuck with me up until now. I am sure these are the only options. So obviously he definitely felt like he was being watched or whatnot. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm not like educated enough on the topic to really dive deep on it, but there's definitely something weird going on. And it seems like he was trying to bring awareness to it, and they snuffed his ass out.
Freeman, and I say who it specifically, and that's still not enough. They're still taking it too far. Everyone knows and agrees now that it's like a reverse version of American History X, the scene when they put the guy's head against.
I mean, even Elon Musk is saying that it's a high possibility that he could be assassinated. Okay, like it's so crazy. Multiple outlets are basically, you know, reporting that he is at risk of being assassinated. Fox News Business, Elon Musk says he faces quite significant risk of being assassinated. He's definitely doing something that, you know, people don't want being done, and then he's uncovering all types of shit on Twitter about election tampering, and I mean, he's shaking shit up. He's shaking up the fact that Fauci's daughter worked at Twitter in the CV misinformation department. So Musk is doing a lot right now. I mean, Twitter is fucking lit right now. All his tweets are super active, and then a lot of people are getting you know, a lot more active. It's pretty interesting what's going on with Twitter right now.
Against the curve and kick the back of it. And now people are like, wait a second, the so-called crime doesn't deserve the punishment. What did I thought?
That's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. The Jew, I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me.
So here he fucking up. Oh, I see good things about Hitler. Lord have mercy. Let's get into it.
You can love, you know, us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good. And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one?
That shit was wild as fuck. Now, I do understand what he's saying, but Hitler was also a puppet. And this is what people don't know. When we talk about wars and financing wars, there's a great documentary I was watching the other day about who was financing World War I and World War II. And it all goes back to these central banks who are not, you know, government owned, but independent banks that are, you know, funding both sides of wars, most likely. You know, I mean, even if you look at Ukraine and Russia, I can't go too deep. I don't know exactly who's funding it, but I guarantee that there's funding going in on both sides from, you know, one party because war is big business. You know, there's a song that says war is good. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And, you know, It may not be good. It may be good for nothing to the people, for sure. But to these people who are not going to be directly affected by it, and who stand to make a profit from it, it's good to them. Okay. And this is what you have to understand. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean that other people don't believe in something. So when we talk about, you know, when the guy who tweeted the crypto billionaire who just passed away tweeting the you know, the pedo elite Satanist whatever child trafficking thing, you know, people are like, oh well, why does it always go back to Satanism? And it's like I said, just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean that these people don't believe in it, and it doesn't mean that they don't believe that it gives them power. So I mean, it's some wild shit, honestly. And I mean, Kanye, my personal opinion, I think he's a controlled op. I think he's a controlled op. Just from seeing the Donda shit, the Sunday service shit, there's too much imagery that tells me that he's aligning with the agenda. Even though they're canceling him, quote unquote, I think he's being used. I think he's a tool. And I definitely think that his strings are still being pulled.
But Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you going to do anything to fix Chicago?
Well, I am worried about the thousands of black folks down in the month of Chicago, but let me expand on that because that's a nuanced issue. You know, my grandfather grew up,
and they just they have armed guards hired for gas stations in Philly, and they're still like leftist glider liberals who are like, well, I don't think that's necessary, and all this fucking. It's crazy, y'all.
In Dallas, and from a pretty wealthy family.
Also, Hitler was born Christian.
I've actually studied some of the history on it, but it's very interesting. My grandfather, you know, grew up, and actually some of his family spoke some German. There's a lot of Germans in Texas. But did you know that he grew up next door to the inventor of air conditioning and the inventor of one of the major inventors of refrigeration? And so my issue was, growing up, my grandfather told me the stories about some of the inside baseball and the things that went on. But later, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to tell you some stuff about Hitler that you might not know directly that happened to my people I knew.
I'd love to hear everything, because guess what? We don't get to hear. It's hidden. Even like our truth, the fact that African Americans were in America before the Pilgrims, that truth is hidden. That we are actually the Native Americans, or some of us are Native, or the fact that what Kyrie got in trouble is pointing out that we're Jewish slave boats. Like, and then, you know,
look at Australia.
Well, Kyrie didn't necessarily point that out. He just pointed to a documentary that pointed that out. And there were, especially in South America, the Portuguese Jews, they basically, you know, the way that they did it, and I'm not saying this is all Jews or small hats or whatever, but the way that they did it was they basically brokered slaves and sold them with interest, kind of how the central banks do lending money in nowadays. So were there some Jewish slave owners who was like being there say, yeah, probably, but they were kind of more of a middleman. Which is very interesting when you look at the history on the transatlantic slave trade going from America or from Africa to North America, and then from North America to South America. A lot of slaves were sent from North America to South America, and you know, there were Portuguese small hats who were brokering a lot of these deals with interest. I think it was like 10. They were charging 10% interest. So, you know, they was getting that coin for sure.
Yeah.
They've done some of the genetic typing of the Aborigines there. They're basically Africans.
There you go. You know, so all of these truths, and then the current truths about banking, about the government. My favorite thing that I got to say with Tim Pool was Rahm Emanuel was right there next to Obama. Jared Kushner was right there next to Trump. What are those two people, those two Zionists, I gave it away, have in common? Nick, can you pick that up and expound on that?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, and it's interesting because you've been going on these interviews with Lex Friedman and with Tim Pool and Piers Morgan, and they always say, well...
And just like even to have the slavery conversation, guys. Everybody participated in slavery. We all know that Africans sold slaves, and they're still enslaving people to this day. So it's a lot of issues going on in the world. Everybody participated. Everybody is guilty. Okay. So obviously we have empathy for the people who didn't have control of their destination and whatnot. But to just blame one singular group, you know, like I saw this CNN interview where there was this British lady who was basically speaking about it, and she was talking about, well, who's going to pay the reparations? Are we going to go get some reparations from the Africans who brokered slave deals and whatnot? So everybody participated in the evil practice as we understand it to this day. So we're not trying to demonize one specific group. That's just a disclaimer.
Don't talk about a group, talk about the individuals. And I would point out, one, it's hypocritical because in the same interview, Tim Pool said, well, wouldn't Ye be so great for the black vote? You can say the black vote, but you talk about Jewish businessmen, and somehow that's a problem. You can't talk about groups when it's one, but not the other. The other thing is that there is something baked into the cake in Judaism, which affects how they're brokering these kinds of contracts with entertainers like Ye. If you look at the Talmud, which is a real Jewish holy book or part of the holy book, there's the written Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. There's the oral Torah, which was written down as the Mishnah and then interpreted in the Talmud. In the Talmud, it says that Jews have to treat Gentiles differently than they treat other Jews. There's all kinds of examples of this. They say that if a Jew indirectly kills a Gentile, there's nothing even wrong with that. There's nothing morally wrong with that. They say that for a Jew to have sex with a Gentile is comparable to bestiality. They say that the semen of a Gentile is like that of horses.
And I'm not completely familiar with all of the things that he's talking about, but it's very interesting if that is baked into the religious text. I'm not 100% sure. I can't speak on that with confidence, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. You know, I've heard about some things in the Talmud that, you know, are a little concerning, questioning, but I'm not here to be the judge of that. We'll just listen to what he's saying. I wish that maybe he would pull up a verse or some source or whatnot. But I mean, he's firing at the hip. So let's listen up.
They also say that you can't give a gift to a Gentile. A Jew is not permitted under the Talmud to give a gift to a Gentile. They're not permitted to charge each other interest, but they're encouraged to charge Gentiles interest.
What do they say about pedophilia?
They say that that's in some cases licit.
Well, I mean,
so you're telling me in their holy book, it says it's okay to be pedophiles as long as it's not another Jewish person.
That's something that came from Adam. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, let me just get this. Let me just get this out front. I believe in free speech, and that's why I want you to be here and be able to say whatever you want.
And I think Kanye is a little, not even a little, heavily impressionable. Like it seems like he's just kind of taking what these individuals are saying at face value and not like looking up what's actually going on. So
I'm quite the historian from a lot of multifaceted views. So at a certain point, I'm going to give my nuanced views of this because there are power structures and there are mafias and there are cliques and there are groups. And there is certainly leftist Jews that call everybody Nazis they don't agree with. If you don't want open borders, or you don't want your guns taken, or you don't want to take a shot. The ADL had a meeting 2 weeks ago and said, Alex Jones is an agent of evil. He should be taken off the air. He's the devil because he doesn't want you to take 4 shots. And I'm like, what are you doing calling me anti-Semitic? I'm not against groups. I don't get into group politics.
Adam, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Alex.
Yes, sir.
I've got the perfect answer for the ADL. They are going to have to listen up. What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I mean, I'm in the twilight zone right now.
That nigga dumb as hell.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say?
I'm dead.
What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick Fuentes and Ye? It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye.
Okay. Oh God!
I had no idea your voice is gonna sound like that, Netanyahu.
So if you guys,
so you don't like Benjamin?
If you guys don't see what he has there, he has what appears to be a butterfly net and a glass bottle of Yahoo chocolate milk. Oh, that's hilarious.
I just heard about this guy 2 weeks ago since like the tweet, and I thought he had a funny name. I heard he's like really into he's like a super killer. And I could die for saying this. So in case this the last time you ever hear from me.
Well, look. I'm glad you guys are here, and we can sit here and upset. All I'm telling you is, you guys realize?
Yeah, this nigga Kanye is very immature, very disrespectful. He needs to grow the fuck up. I mean, this interview confirmed that he's controlled opposition.
That the British government created Hitler, and the Milner Group put him in power, and there's something much more sophisticated. And I personally think that most Jews are great people, and I understand there's a Jewish mafia, and they're used to demonize anybody that promotes freedom. But I don't blame Jews in general for that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where we need to, there are the elite white men or whatever the fuck, and a lot of those individuals are small hats as well. But this isn't to demonize all small hats, okay? I told you guys before, my principal in my elementary school is small hat. His daughter, we were good friends, all that good shit. But you have to make these disclaimers when talking about these subjects. But, I mean, when it comes to the media, you can't deny that, they doing their motherfucking thing and they're controlling the narrative. And the narrative that we're getting right now is not a good narrative. So,
and there is a much larger eugenics, transhumanist, scientific elite agenda that's playing off.
What about abortion? It's 50% of Black deaths. There's over 50.
Hey, one of the papers I had, you're like, why is all? You're the director today. It's fine. The Margaret Sanger, Rockefeller founded Planned Parenthood came out today and said, because of your white guilt, white people need to give money so we can kill Black babies. I swear to God, it's in my stack. If I had moved it off the desk, I could pull it right up for you.
Why did I have you move it off the desk, Alex?
Because it's cluttered. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying, everybody asks where's my papers. I don't have them there as a prop. I can literally go, look, I agree with you. Look at this. They say white people help us kill Black people for your white guilt. It actually says that. Now,
okay, so this is from the National Review. It says more Black babies aborted than born in New York City. And that was a report from February 21st, 2014. So we can only imagine how many other sisters have aborted their children in New York. And they're going to say, oh, well, they couldn't take care of it. It's hard. The cost of living in New York. Hella excuses. Bitch, just close your legs.
I'm agreeing with you.
Is it a problem with props? We can't. This is the voice of Netanyahu.
Well, see, you get your mop. I'm going to find the tweet here. Because I want to show you this. This is a big, guys, I sent it to you this morning. It was in the tweets. You pull it up. It's official Twitter of the eugenics death cult. Talk about Nazis. I mean,
we're going to have Netanyahu step out for a second. Okay, Alex?
Oh, he's going to go?
I'm leaving for now until it's another meeting, and then I'm gonna say something. All right,
bruh, this nigga is wilding, bruh. I mean, he's hilarious as fuck, but this is a grown man. This nigga is in his 40s.
You're not.
I get clowning around and playing around, but it just seems like he's playing with his life. Like he's gonna squander all his wealth. It seems like.
Not only an artist, you're a comedian. But Nick, that's what I'm getting at here is that it was a it doesn't matter. Listen.
That nigga Kanye so distracting. Kanye just want to have fun. I'm convinced he just want to have fun.
Fluoride in the water killing us all. They're injecting us with GMO. Oh, here's the question, and I'm not an apologist for Israel. I'm trying to be balanced here, and I believe in First Amendment. I believe in free speech. I endorse you, say whatever you want. Israel has, other than like Singapore and a few places, the most draconian mRNA injections in the world. They have the highest death rate from the shots.
Yeah, and then we broke down the Ethiopian Hebrews that they're basically, trying to claim citizenship in the quote unquote promised land that is Israel today. there were reports that basically they were being forced to take vaccines that made them not be able to give birth. Let me just pull it up right here, because niggas be like, oh, we don't believe you. But I'll pull the story up and then I'll let Kanye keep clowning around.
They are literally forcibly injecting them like Joseph Mengele, and Jews are dying in mass in Israel. So if the Jews are the secret group that runs it all, and I'm not denying that, you know, Jews run Hollywood. What I'm saying is
it's the Zionist.
Yeah, but okay, well, why would the Zionists be killing Jews in mass in Israel with the poison shot?
Because they work for Satan. They don't work for God.
Exactly. So they create.
So that's that synagogue of Satan shit. Which is some real shit, biblical prophecy. So let's break this down. Ethiopian women in Israel given contraceptive without consent. And this is coming from The Guardian, which is as you can see, people, it's a publication that people, you know, look up to. They say that, oh, it's accurate and all that kind of shit. Right. So, and it's a leftist organization as well, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, this is from 2013. So they were a little more balanced, I guess, when it comes to the news back then. And it says this article is more than 9 years old. So it says Israel's health ministry is investigating claims that Ethiopian immigrants have unwittingly and Depo-Provera jabs for years. Unwittingly had. I'm sorry. Israel's health ministry is investigating claims that Ethiopian women are being injected with a controversial contraceptive without their knowledge or consent. Thousands of Ethiopian women are said to be receiving shots of Depo-Provera every 3 months in Israeli clinics. The contraceptive stops menstruation and has been linked to fertility problems and osteoporosis. And this is a real article coming out of the Guardian. And these are the Black Hebrews who, you know, they really know who they are. They're from Ethiopia. They were scattered, and they're rightfully able to, you know, get citizenship in Israel based off of their bloodlines. I mean, these are people who have been tested. I think Duke University did a genealogy test, and these people were 100% verified. They had the Y chromosome of, is it the Y chromosome of, it's either Noah, Moses, or Abraham, one of them. But they had like the correct genealogy and blood work and all that stuff. So they're rightfully owed to be able to go back to the quote unquote promised land and live their days out in, you know, God's alleged promised land that was given to the Jews. So they're Black Jews, and they go there, and this is how they're welcomed. Their women are put on, they're given Margaret Sanger injections, and basically, you know, trying to stop them from reproducing. So that my only conclusion to that could be, well, they don't want any more Black Jews, so they're making sure that the women are infertile so they can't reproduce Black Jews. That's what it seems like to me. But maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm reaching, but that's really what it appears. And there's more articles on it. There's videos on this shit, documentaries on this shit, and I'm just pulling up an article, but I could pull up video as well. You know, it's very crazy, bro. Very crazy. And they're facing a lot of issues over there in Israel. Let's see. Yaakov Litzman, Israel's deputy minister of health, who has previously denied the practice, will lead the inquiry, a spokesperson announced on Wednesday. So he denied the practice, and he's denied that it's even happening, but he's leading the inquiry. Seems like a conflict of interest. The phenomenon was uncovered when social workers noticed the birth rate among Ethiopian immigrants halving in a decade. An Israeli documentary investigating the scandal was aired in December and prompted a popular outcry. All right, so y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. They had a $1 million goal, I guess, or is already in $1 million. Oh yeah, so that's the Guardian's goal to raise money. Fuck them then. But yeah, I mean that's some real shit, bro. That's some real fucked up shit, for sure, for sure. And that's really happening. Let's go.
Fears that get Jews persecuted so they can control the Jews so they can kill them. And you just did it. Just like George Soros helped round up Jews for Hitler. That's the next level. Boom, we just got there.
And they control the left and the right. They make politics super messy. Like I went in to meet with my boy Trump, and the next thing you know, like he typed, he said, fake news went crazy. And I love Trump.
Okay, so somebody said Deborah Leonelli said Miss Israel 2013 was Ethiopian, but keep going. I mean, but that's just like affirmative action hire type shit. I mean, did they really want her to be Miss Ethiopia? I don't fucking know. But if they're giving these people shots to not reproduce, and then they're posturing, it's a virtue signal. It's not authentic. Like it's what y'all don't understand is they play both sides of the coin. Like it's the same thing as like the Obama shit. Oh, well, you know, America doesn't have issues with race, but because we had a black president, it's the same line of argument. Or America cares about, you know, Chicago youth because Obama was elected president. Meanwhile, you got niggas dying 100 miles per hour in Chicago. So, I mean, just because I don't know, some fucking pageant bitch won fucking Miss Israel or some shit like that doesn't mean that they also weren't sterilizing the women there.
Like every other good Christian American, we just want to hold Trump to Christian values and say that's the only way to the White House. And if he doesn't do it, then I'm going to have to do it. I think that Trump is a more senior president. I think I've got some growing to do, but I love Jesus. It's kind of like David. All of his brothers had all this battle experience and he was tended to the sheep. But while he was out there, he had to fight bears and tigers. This is the little I know as a baby Christian.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah. But he was able to beat that giant. And right now, this giant, there's some cleaning, there's some plumbing that we have to do. And that's what I'm doing with my style of art, my style of humor, and who I am as a celebrity to say, okay, I've been messed over enough by Jewish businessmen to get to the point to say, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not.
And see, you know, I definitely get what he's saying, but he's got to call names specifically. That's just like me saying, oh, well, you know, every time I see somebody getting mugged, it's a black guy. And, you know, although we're hyper vigilant of Super Gremlins on Demon Time on this channel, and you can, you know, point out that, hey, you know, we have an issue with young black men carjacking and whatnot. You can't demonize the total group. You just have to point out the issue and then look for the solution like we do on this channel. But I mean, there's definitely something behind it. The way that he's kind of phrasing it, you know, he's not doing the best at articulating his talking points and what he really wants to convey. But there's definitely, I mean, just like there was an Italian mafia, just like there's the black mob, Jay Prince and them, mob ties and shit, just like there's Crips and Bloods, there's a fucking small hat mafia. And they don't move like they move like more like a secret government than like organized crime. It's way deeper than that. It's organized, I don't know, organized, centralized control of every fucking industry. That's really, I don't know how else to describe it, but
not the first person that got debanked because of their political opinion. And I represent now the common man. When we go, I don't like the word if, when we go into the White House, it's us now. It's not about specifically an icon or DeSantis.
But it's issues.
Yeah, it's about the issues in America.
Yeah, stay there. Nick Floyd does the studio. This is us. We're going to come back after this break, and we're going to come back into the break and play a George Soros compilation of him on NPR. It's only a few minutes.
Forget about me.
Him on NPR and him on 60 Minutes saying the best time of his life was rounding up and killing Jews. Ye never killed any Jews. So I want to know, how do I get the ADL to love me? Do I round up Jews in Nazi Germany? Do I get love then? Schwarzenegger said he loved Hitler. They gave him an award. I'm just saying, I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafias are doing either.
I like Hitler.
It was actually probably
that shit was wild. Right before the commercial break, I like Hitler. God damn.
the happiest year of my life.
And yeah, we broke down the George Soros shit where he was rounding up Jews, working with the Nazis, capping like he, wasn't Jewish. But I understand that as far as like a survival instinct, like, hey, I don't want to get round up, so I'm gonna, claim that I'm with this dude. Okay. I think some guy claimed him, some family friend claimed him as his son, like how niggas be claiming different kids on their taxes and shit like that. So I get that concept of, if I got an opportunity to get out of this, for sure I'm gonna get out of this. So I don't necessarily disagree with that move, but then to go and describe that time as the happiest time in your life it's kind of crazy.
That year of German occupation. For me, it was a very positive experience. It's a strange thing, because you see incredible suffering around you, and in fact, you're in considerable danger yourself. But you're 14 years old and you don't believe that it can actually touch you. You have a belief in yourself, your belief in your father. It's a very happy-making, exhilarating experience.
While hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Jews were being shipped off to the death camps, George Soros accompanied his phony godfather on his appointed rounds, confiscating property from the Jews. These are pictures from 1944 of what happened to George Soros's friends and neighbors. You're a Hungarian Jew who escaped the Holocaust by posing as a Christian.
Right.
And you watched lots of people get shipped off to the death camps.
Right. I was 14 years old. And I would say that that's when my character was made.
In what way?
That one should think ahead, one should understand and anticipate events, and one is threatened. It was a tremendous threat of evil. I mean, it was a very personal experience of evil.
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psyche.
And if I'm not mistaken, this was a 60 Minutes interview?
Psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe as a child you don't see it.
And why is this nigga smiling too? Shouldn't he be like, oh, the trauma of my ancestors? There's some wild shit.
The connection, but it created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No.
For example, that I'm Jewish, and here I am watching these people go. I could just as easily be there. I should be there. None of that.
Well, of course, I could be on the other side, or I could be the one from whom the thing is being taken away.
You mean the life, my nigga? God damn.
But there was no sense that I shouldn't be there, because that was... well, actually, funny way, it's...
This nigga is having a jolly old time. I mean, look, bruh, I don't know what the fuck be going through these billionaires' heads and all types of shit. I'm sure they get off on some weird shit. But bro does not look like, I mean, this is hindsight is 2020 now. This is after the Holocaust and after World War II, and my man is still speaking on it like it's just, oh, well, shit, I'm the biggest finesser in the world. Like, I bet he feels like that. Like, I'm smarter than everybody. You know, it definitely could give you a God complex. I mean, but this is just some horrible shit.
Just like in markets, that if I weren't there, of course I wasn't doing it, but somebody else would be taking it away anyhow. You know, whether I was there or not, I was only a spectator.
So that's what, you know, a lot of the dope boys, I mean, we've broken down this clip, but that's the line of thought that a lot of the dope boys, oh, well, if I wasn't selling drugs, then somebody else would do it as well. So food for thought. This is how they thinking. Shit, if I wasn't doing it, then somebody else would. If I wasn't going to the pedo Caribbean islands, then somebody else would. So might as well be me, right? Some wild shit. It's a wild train of thought.
The property was being taken away. So I had no role in taking away that property. So I had no sense of guilt.
Are you religious?
No.
So small hat, not religious, atheist, billionaire, doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. There you have it.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Damn. I mean, he say he doesn't believe in God. He's straight atheist, and I'm not mad at the atheist, but I don't believe him that he doesn't believe in God. I think that from what I'm seeing from like all the media, and this has to be kind of like a top-down call. If he doesn't believe in God, then it's almost like, just because understanding that he controls a lot of the media, he wants other people not to believe in God, and not only not to believe in God, but to embrace satanic or Luciferian morals from the imagery that's in the media. That's just my interpretation. So I don't know if he's telling the truth that he doesn't believe in God. But I mean, Buddy is definitely an agent of the sixth God.
All right. My mission here today is to offer the First Amendment, because as long as you're not carrying out violence against someone or asking people to be violent, like the left's asked people to burn down cities and attack Republicans and celebrate Rand Paul and Scalise being shot and attacked, then you have your free speech. And when the left came out in the last 10 years and really accelerated the last 5, 6, it said white people are inherently evil because of the color of their skin, and that somebody who moved here as a kid from Poland, they're supposed to pay reparations for what people did hundreds of years ago in this country. It's a divide and conquer strategy. I'm not getting into the reparations debate. I'm saying the groups pushing reparations are trying to cause division. And so I've said it, the most Nazi-like activities I've seen, and the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We're going to stop dissing.
Yo, he's like, God, come on, Kanye. You're going to have me owing another $1 billion. No, but it's wild that Kanye is really like trying to die on this Nazi hill. It's kind of weird.
And the Nazis all the time.
Okay, we're going to get to that. I don't want to get digressed into this, but remember I told you a story about my grandfather growing up in the richest neighborhood in Dallas.
And he don't give a fuck too.
And down the street was a famous German-American inventor. And he was a first-generation person. He'd come here when he was a little kid on a ship. And he held a bunch of the patents on refrigeration and air conditioning. And
guys, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App. We ain't got no damn sponsors the whole time. We ain't got no sponsors the whole time. We might have to go to a commercial break. Somebody show some love.
And, my grandfather worked the time he was about 8 years old, because he took him under his wing in his little tinkering factory. Then he had factories in places like Detroit that they actually built the stuff. And my grandfather, the main reason he joined the Army Air Corps, he told me, he didn't tell me a lot about this, he just told me the story, was because he watched that man very quietly, once Hitler got power in the 30s, suck every dime out of him, or he would kill his relatives in Germany. And that guy was blonde-haired and blue-eyed. It was as German as you could get, as Arnold Schwarzenegger, or as Teutonic as Germanic. And the point was, my grandfather saw that. So I understand you're opposed to other forces, but I don't think thinking other forces in history that are lionized. That's my personal experience of what my grandfather, Clyde William Hammond, told me. Does that make sense?
It not totally to me, but it's, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying, like,
he didn't follow any of that.
Like, it literally doesn't totally make sense to me. I'm following it, but I was just thinking about Satan, that whether it's the Zionists or Hitler, it's not the person, it's Satan using the people that
I agree with that,
are controlled by demonic forces. But what I'm gonna
and I think that explanation kind of just, I know I say Supergremlins on Demon Time, and we, like to play with the duality of things, the God and the versus Satan thing. But I do think that just throwing everything off to Satan kind of, defeats the purpose of personal accountability. Like it's almost like the devil made me do it type mindset. So I don't know. I just feel like that's a way to give them an out. Obviously, we diagnose evil, we understand and observe it, and seek justice for evil. But I wouldn't, the way that he just phrased it, I wouldn't say it like that. It's almost like he's trying to imply that, oh, well, it's not them, it's the devil making them do it.
What I'm gonna say is the Jewish media has made us feel like the Nazis and Hitler have never offered anything of value to the world. Meanwhile, there's all of these things that are happening. Planned Parenthood is New World Order population eugenics that is happening.
And obviously the United States thought that the Nazis provided some good to the world. Otherwise we wouldn't have NASA. We actually recruited a lot of their scientists to work for the United States, and this is a known fact. I believe it's under Operation Paperclip and all that type of shit. I mean, you can go deep with it, but I mean, obviously the United States found value in the Nazis for sure. And some of the things that they were on to back in the day, the intelligence agencies have scooped it right up, and they are using it to this day on U.S. citizens. And it's a travesty. It's a huge issue. I mean, Kanye would be correct in his statement that, hey, a lot of the things that the Nazis did were absolutely horrible, but there was somebody out there who found value in them, and that somebody is the United States government, or the shadow government, or the deep state, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They absolutely felt that the Nazis had something to offer, for sure. And it's wild, but that's kind of how history goes. It's so peculiar that you would hire the enemy after destroying them to basically run some of your most important and most funded institutions. My guy, What About, says NASA benefited. He also mentioned Adidas and Hugo Boss. It's some wild shit going on, guys.
Happening to this date. I got some jokes here from Owen Benjamin that I want to read about Ben Shapiro. Hey, Candace Owens.
WP says German scientists were/are the truth. They got the ancient civilization research/information. Yeah, and that's that. I mean, it is what it is. They had a lot of opportunity to test on live and unalive individuals as well, with the atrocities that they were committing. So yeah, they had a lot of scientific opportunity. I'm not going to say that it's moral in the way that, you know, they conducted these tests and whatnot. But they had, you know, writings from ancient civilizations. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can get down with that. There's so much that we don't really understand about history, and there it's impossible to even grasp the gravity of history, let alone the universe in and of itself. It's even hard to grasp like the way that your own body works and the way your own physicality works and what your body needs to keep, you know, running at a high level. So, I mean, it's a very difficult topic, but yes, for sure. I mean, that's why they always talk about German automotives and always talking about how good the German engineering is and all this shit. You know, there's definitely something to that, for sure.
Plug this robot before he runs his mouth. Ben Shapiro's cardio is picking up shackles. Shapiro can tell how much change is in your pocket just from hearing a jingle. Shapiro is just mad that Kyrie won't sign his basketball. Back to you, Alex.
Nick, you're sitting over there. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, I agree with Ye. I think that when you look at what's going on today, so much of the political landscape happens in the shadow of World War II and the Nazis and Hitler. And I think it requires a little bit of an investigation, an examination of where those values come from. You know, people talk about Nazis and Hitler, but the United States had camps as well. The United States put the Japanese in internment.
The United States injected black people with syphilis.
Yeah, and you.
No, I totally agree with you.
The United States has Instagram selling pornography to little kids, and they're selling. People are
and TikTok. Don't forget TikTok.
Selling it's prostitution rings. Instagram.
So is your point? Let he without sin cast the first stone. You're just
Instagram is a prostitution ring. Like
throwing stones at a glass house.
I went 30 days off of Instagram, and it was the best part of the fast. Me getting kicked off of Instagram was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because when I go to it, it's like watching it with the They Live goggles, which is something that Owen Benjamin, you guys got to pull this up. Dave Chappelle is a hack, and he gets a lot of his jokes from Owen Benjamin. Dave Chappelle went on a Jewish platform and said, they dropped that nigga. Dave Chappelle said they dropped that nigga, talking about Ye, and he called me Kanye, and I'm supposed to be his friend. Dave Chappelle does not believe in God and does not believe in Jesus. These are the kind of black leaders that the Zionists put in front of us.
I mean, and look, Dave Chappelle did you a favor, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, he was making a joke. He said they got that nigga Kanye. How many times have you said nigga in your music? I mean, at this point, we kind of got to get over the N-word shit. I mean, we really do. Now, obviously, you don't let nobody disrespect you, but especially in this context, Kanye, get out your feelings, bro. Dave Chappelle is the GOAT, and he was protecting you, and he was protecting Kyrie, and he was pointing out some nuances in the discussion. He was also highlighting some hypocrisy for your cause, and you just gonna come out here and say, oh, he doesn't believe in God. I mean, whether he believes in God or not is irrelevant. Like, I don't base somebody's morality, their total morality, based off of, oh, do you believe in God or not? No, it's about what you do and your actions and your works and what you do for people, and, you know, your value that you provide to society, if you will. So, you know, Kanye, you gotta chill, bruh. Just because somebody mentioned your name doesn't mean that they're trying to disrespect you.
And meanwhile, we want to knock Herschel Walker, but Herschel Walker changed his life for Christ. And he might have had abortions, but he doesn't believe in abortion.
Well, sure. What matters is I have too. What matters is the heart.
Did I think Alex Jones just say, "Oh, I've had abortions too"? I guess he's admitting that he's had abortions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Ye. I think that it's time that America has a fearless, visionary leader who serves Christ, who wants to bring the future forth in engineering and theology.
And this is what I'll say. I'm not like, you know, I'm all for biblical principles and whatnot, and having a moral compass, but I don't necessarily believe that the leader has to, quote unquote, serve Christ. I think they just have to have an interest in reviving this country based off of when we were at our best. And when we're at our best, that is no debt, a balanced budget, Congress taking back control of the power of the purse, okay, truly, and, you know, taking that power away from the Fed, who is, you know, basically, I mean, they're fucking, they're rogue doctors for the economy. We got to have somebody with good economic principles. Look, I don't give a fuck if you believe in Allah. I don't give a fuck if you believe in Buddha. I don't give a fuck, bro. As long as you are, as long as you believe in people's rights and the Constitution, then we can move forward from there. Like, I'm not big on, oh, you have to be like, no, that's not necessary in this day and age. Like, you don't have to be a Christian to be a good person. That's just the reality of the situation. I know a lot of Christians are going to get mad at me and be like, oh, you're going to hell. I mean, reality is, it is what it is, man. You don't.
I think that when you look at the options that were offered, and I said this on my show the other week, and the news said, oh, he supports DeSantis. I said the moderate Trump.
DeSantis, nobody even knows. It's just somebody that all the left are.
I mean, DeSantis, he has his issues, and you know, there's a lot of evidence to show that he is or could be used as a puppet for Israel. But I ain't gonna lie, he's goated in Florida. What he did during the pandemonium, he's goated for that. So
all of a sudden,
well, let me raise that. Let me raise that since you guys got into this, and we'll do hours on this.
Did I cut you off, Nick? I want you to let him complete his thought.
So
yeah, that nigga Kanye is a fucking asshole.
Moderate Trump versus DeSantis will not produce any outcome where America or Jesus is put first. Israel is, or rather DeSantis is mobbed up with Israel and Mossad.
Yeah, and that is true.
Donald Trump, his speech, his announcement was written by Jason Miller, who's controlled by foreign interests. If there's a Republican primary between them two and they go up against Biden or they go up against Newsom, there is exactly zero chance that we get any kind of regime that's going to deliver the real.
Yeah, if Newsom, bro, if Newsom wins, it's over.
Nick, I got a question. If I say something that's provocative towards the
because they could easily swap out Biden for Newsom like tomorrow, and it'd be OV.
Mossad, is that misogynistic? Hold on, let's hear from that. Hey, I'm the head of the Mossad. I'm gonna kill you and take your children away from you. Thanks a lot, Netin. Back to you, Alex.
Please turn your microphone around, sir.
That nigga's
I'm definitely overwhelmed here right now. Infowars.com, tomorrow's news today. Listen, all I'm trying to get through here is I believe every group should be able to be
switched his name to Netin. I dropped the Yahoo, so we
Look,
didn't have
that nigga Alex Jones is irritated as fuck. He's like, I'm $1 billion in the hole, and this nigga with a mask is cutting me off every second.
I was tired of picking up the Yahoo and the Netin, so for now he's just Netin. I know some people call him BB. No, some of you call him Yahoo, but we're gonna call him Netin. What you want, Netin? Hey, yay, right after this, I'm gonna say you're crazy. I'm gonna take your family away from you. We're not done with you yet. You cannot cause free thought.
Lord have mercy. Kanye is bugging. I mean, I get he's trying to be an entertainer, trying to be funny. It's not really funny. It's a little cringe.
We have to control the history books. We have to control the banks, and we have to go and kill people. Also, we're in the pedophilia.
So, and in a little while, hopefully, you're going to take the mask off because is this actually?
Oh my God! Please take
folks,
the mask off.
The mask is coming off in a little while. Hopefully, we're going to be able to have a discussion about this. But I mean, seriously. You have the globalists pushing a poison shot that's already killed 20 million people that they admit doesn't work. And then you're the bad guy for criticizing a group. What I'm saying is when the left said white people are inherently bad because they're white the last 6-7 years, they opened the gates up. So what do they expect?
And let me just make it clear. There's nothing wrong with criticizing a group. And there's nothing wrong with speaking in generalities. Obviously, you know, it would be great to give a disclaimer like this isn't all Jews, this isn't all black people, this isn't all white people, but you know, they don't, I don't know, put seasoning on their turkey. You know, it's okay to make generalizations as long as it's in good faith, as long as it's to further the conversation, because you could say, okay, well, you know, the small hats run the media. And yes, although that is a sweeping generalization, it is also factual. When you look at the music labels and the record companies and the different media groups and the publishing houses and all that shit, I mean, they're all run by small hats, which is fine. Just understand that, you know, not all of them are bad and pushing nefarious morals, and you know, not all of them are good either. Okay, so there are some people wrapped up in that whole group who are involved in some wicked shit, and they're pushing their own agenda onto the people. I think it's more of a I think it's more connected to secret societies than anything than race. I don't think it's just like a race or religion thing. I think it's more of a secret society thing than anything. So, I mean, I get his point, but you know, I'm not opposed to generalizing, making generalizations, but I wish that he would kind of get more specific.
It's wrong, in my view, to say any group is inherently bad or has these traits or whatever. We should judge the individual. But it's wrong for the ADL to have what are very racial policies.
The ADL is played out. Nobody knows who the ADL are. Stop giving them attention. Nobody cares about the ADL. ADL, shut up.
They run all the censorship and everything.
They don't run anything. They're played out. We run the streets.
What?
Well, I'm singling out the ADL. So
that's we don't know who they are. No one in high school knew what the word anti-Semitic was until Ye made it popular.
Now, he's not wrong about that. Many people didn't know what Semitic people were, or the, you know, the origins of the word. Many people don't really understand or know where it comes from. So, and they still don't, even after Ye was accused of being anti-Semite. You still see people in the comments who still don't really understand what it means to be of Semitic origin.
No, I hear you. It's definitely a tiger by the tail. Nick, you want to comment here?
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say that, you know, I don't think Ye or I are saying that any group is particularly bad or the Jews as a group are bad, but there are Jewish practices that are based on Jewish law, and there is clearly some kind of a Jewish mafia. I'll give you a perfect example. It was Ari Emanuel of WME that called for a total boycott on Ye. Ari Emanuel's two brothers are Zeke Emanuel, who is the architect of Obamacare in the Obama White House, and his other brother is Rahm Emanuel.
And one of them is like the he's the president of UMG, Universal Music Group,
who is the chief of staff for Obama and the mayor of Chicago. Their father, Benjamin Emanuel, was part of the Irgun, which was a Zionist terrorist group in the 1940s. The definition of anti-Semitism, according to the State Department, is if you say Jews have any allegiance to Israel, it's anti-Semitic. If you say that Jews have any kind of conspiratorial influence in America, it's anti-Semitic. So we're supposed to believe that if Rahm picks up the phone and gets on a call with Zeke and Ari, and they talk about their jobs, which are running Hollywood and running the Obama White House, a conspiracy, if we acknowledge that happens, we're called anti-Semitic. But it's the truth. It's a truth that they make those calls. And it doesn't mean that every Jewish person is in on it. There are good Jews like Darren Beatty and Laura Loomer. And, you know, there are lots of fine people.
Laura Loomer call in. Also, it's like there's Jewish people that are basically hiding me under their floorboards right now, under their wooden floors. It's like a reverse version of the Holocaust, because there's Jewish people that saw how I was treated, and they're like, this is wrong. This guy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Are there people who are empathizing with Kanye's plight? For sure. I think he kind of lost a lot of people once he started saying, oh, well, good things in Hitler and all that bullshit. But, you know.
Just gave an opinion. I didn't cause any harm. I didn't harm anyone. All I said is, and I spelled it wrong because I was drinking alcohol, and we see the Bible says you can drink, but the king should not drink, right? And I shouldn't have been drinking. I shouldn't have said DEFCON. That was a $2 billion tweet, basically. I know you know about getting sued.
I hear you. So let's expand. Yeah, that's also drinking. So let's expand on this.
Don't want to talk about that shit.
What you say is what I'm trying to say. You didn't kill anybody. You're simply here saying this, and you're being demonized and attacked, and you're saying that is critical. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Up Jews, I thought they were protected, stole their money and sent them to Nazis. What my point is that that's what the left does. They hide behind black people, they hide behind Jews, they hide behind groups, and they use racial politics to control. And so I think that's the most important thing, is to understand that we can all come together under Christ.
Also, they blackmail. Okay, go ahead about the Christ thing. I want to hear this.
No, we can just. I'm just saying. I mean,
you want to shut Kanye up? Just say Christ, Jesus, and the floor is yours.
I don't hate anybody because of their religion or their background. And there's great people from every organization. And I think
George Soros can come to Christ. It is a possibility that he can convert and come to Christ.
Would you meet with George Soros if he wanted to meet with you?
Absolutely. I would meet with anyone. That's the whole thing. Laura.
I mean, that nigga looks like he's done for. Like, he looked like he going to sleep, bro. Sheesh, man. To be that old, all that money, and your eyes drooping like that, it's a lot of stress.
We're live. What's up? This is Laura Loomer.
I'm watching live. I saw you just said that you wanted me to call in, so I'm calling in.
Well, how does she have your number?
Well, she called me because she had some concerns about Milo running my campaign.
No, that's great. So here's the deal. We've got Laura Loomer's number. Can we call her on Skype or Zoom? Can we actually put her on the show? Laura, you're on via speakerphone. Can you come on via Skype or via phone right now?
Yeah, I can't do video right now, but I could do audio. I texted your producer.
Laura, we're gonna call you right now. We're gonna put you on air in 2 minutes.
So this is Laura Loomer. I'm not 100% familiar with her. Okay, so it looks like she ran for Congress in Florida. You know, fairly attractive. Took the L though. Let me get a picture of her real quick. Let's see. So here she goes. I think they're whatever. I don't know much about her. Haven't looked into her that much, but that's who's on the phone. I just kind of want to give you guys a visual understanding of what we're listening to.
Crash Milo. I like Milo.
Listen, all I'm trying to say is
Milo's Jewish. I love Milo. Yeah.
And you've got a little bit of the Hitler fetish going on.
It's not a fetish. It's not a fetish. That's a term. Like, I just love information. They have some documentaries. Apparently, Bezos is allowed to put up any documentary, but if a basketball player tweets it, he'll lose his entire career. I think that's...
Well, that's where I want to go, because you've got millions, hundreds of millions of Chinese locked down right now by, and Chinese are great people, but their government in that country is the most racist, homogenistic, or homogeneous, actually, group there is. And all I'm saying is I really care about those Chinese people under lockdown because they want to use that as a model against us. I'm just kind of not, I'm not on the whole Jew thing. It's what I'm saying. I don't care if people talk about it. I believe in free speech. I'm just really worried about the forced injections, world government, 5G, the open borders, the collapsing currencies, war with Russia. What do you think?
I don't have all of that information. I have the information that 2 days ago, I thought I was going to be put in prison because my accounts are frozen.
No, I get it. You're in Hollywood and the managers you see are, so I get it from your perspective.
Yeah, guys, if you're trying to super trap, there's no more super trap. I am demonetized on all. I'm demonetized completely. So I'm not, there's no way to super trap. The only way to send me a donation is through PayPal or Cash App. So hit that PayPal, hit that Cash App. There is no more super trap. Unfortunately, YouTube has demonetized my channel because they said that I incited hate speech, which I don't know how the fuck I did that. But anyways.
Perspective, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I love Jesus, and I have to fight this war to make a better place for my children and for everyone else's children. I got to put myself, my accounts, my name at risk to stand in the front of this war.
Also, cop the merch, guys.
War that we have. This is INFOWARS, right? So we're going to give this information on INFOWARS.
By the way, I asked the crew very lovingly. I love the crew, but you guys gave me the tweet I sent you this morning of the abortion mill, New World Order, depopulation, kill the black people organization, Planned Parenthood, where they said it's white people's job to give money so we can kill black people. It actually says that. And Ye didn't want me to have it on the desk because he wanted to be able to have it all look clean and stuff. And I get that. So I'm happy for Ye. But will you guys give me that damn tweet?
Yeah, we got.
I love you to death, but I'm asking for an hour. I need that damn tweet.
Yeah, we need that.
I want to show people this because it is such mind control to say, white people, you've got white guilt. To actually say you're bad because you're white. Help us kill black people. What type of freakish, crazy world is that? Ye?
Zionist. Is that too wide of a idea, or do I have to just go specifically to who does that? But it's the devil. It's the devil. We all, like Grandma used to say, we all need Jesus Christ. And where I'm at, this position where God is, he's using me as a vessel.
Shout out to PS. She says BGZ with the $20 PayPal. She says BGZ, man, the J Crew is out of order and out of control. Yes, it's wild out here.
Everyone always knew that I was special, but now I get to be a vessel. And I feel so, I'd like to go into a prayer. It's a prayer that my cousin wrote. Now, this prayer it's pretty long, so please don't cut me off in the middle of this prayer.
I'm not, go ahead.
So what happened is we were doing a family prayer Zoom on Sunday, and his name is Wayne. And he tells me, he says, Kanye, he's like, bro, my name's Jay. You say a prayer. And then I said my prayer, and I felt that it was very profound. I felt like it was Jay level bars where I said, let's remove this whole conversation of morality and let's stick to the Bible and say either Jesus said so or Jesus said no. Hold on, I'm gonna wait till you drop this. Boom.
I'm listening.
All right, so, and I felt like that was profound. That's like a bar that made me top 5 streaming artists without an album this year. Either Jesus said so or Jesus said no, because we want to bring in our creative direction and our opinion and our moral compass. Forget the words moral compass. Is it in the Bible? What did the red letters say? What did Jesus say about it? And then we make our decisions off of that. So I said this, and then I had an idea. Let's stop hoping. Let's pray. Let's talk directly to God. Let's stop hoping for stuff.
I agree with that.
He has hope in here. And then I took it out and then I put it back in. And then so I said this prayer, and my family members, they didn't say anything. And then he said his prayer, and the whole family was like, oh, that's the best prayer I ever heard. And he's like, I know. My prayers could be intimidating. I know. They're like, did you write that down? That was the best prayer ever. And I was thinking like, bro, why you set me up? Why you set me up to say my prayer right before your prayer? But this is his prayer. I was like, yo, send me that prayer, bro. That prayer was pretty good. It says, Nick.
Bow your head, close your eyes, guys. We're about to go pray with Kanye.
It's Catholic, so he doesn't like referring to Jesus as Yahweh God. But I am. Am I black? Am I African? Am I Semite? What is they call me anti-Semite. They said I'm a nigga in rap. They said I'm black. They told me, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, James Brown, you tell me who I am. But I know that I'm a child of God, and I know Jesus died for us. This is the daily prayer written by my cousin Wayne. Yahweh God, thank you for life, health, and strength, faith, hope, and love, and another day to bless, protect your most holy name. I surrender all, Yahweh God, and acknowledge that all things are spiritual before they are physical. For this reason, we also declare and decree that you are the maker, master, ruler, creator, and guider of our spiritual lives. We also acknowledge our brother Jesus Yeshua and the blood he shed that gave us blood-paved pathways back to the holy of the holies. As we humbly come before you, your almighty throne of mercy and grace, we welcome your glory to the rest to rest heavenly upon our shoulders. Bless our crown with supernatural wisdom and understanding, Yahweh God, so that we may walk in the true knowledge of who you are and who you created us to be. Quiet our spiritual minds, Yahweh God. God, slow us down and put us in proper alignment and divine timing with the will and purpose you have for our lives. Open our spiritual eyes, Yahweh God, so we may better see all of the divine things of the Spirit. Open our spiritual ears, Yahweh God, so we may better hear all of the sacred things of the Spirit. Guard our spiritual mouth, Yahweh God. Place a censor over our divine tongues, so we may only speak words that glorify and edify you. Soften our spiritual heart, Yahweh God, so we may walk into deeper communion, communication, commitment, intimacy, understanding, and a relationship with all of the divine things of the Spirit. Yahweh God, we recognize that we do not battle against flesh and blood, but against spirits and powers, principalities and rulers of spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. It is for this reason that we put on the whole armor of God, Yahweh God. We put on the helmet of salvation and the breastplate of righteousness. We firmly attach the belt of truth around our waist and drench our feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. We take our sword of life spirit, which is the word of life, and the shield.
Damn, he ain't lying. This is a long prayer.
Of faith with which we will quench all of the fiery darts of the enemy. Thank you for blessing us from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet and everywhere in between with the first, what we need, everything that we deserve, and then the best that you have for our lives, Yahweh God. In Jesus' name, amen.
And perfect time to go to break. Hour number 2, uncensored with Ye. Nick Fuentes, I'm your guest host here in Insane Asylum World, because the whole world's crazy. All of us are nuts. This is Twilight Zone 2.0. We will be right back.
At me when you say that.
No, I'm talking about all of us. The whole world's crazy. It is crazy. Everybody's crazy. I believe that. I'm saying the guest host here because these guys are hosting. We'll be right back with hour number 2. December 2022 is here, and we are proud and very excited to announce that free shipping is back at InfoWarsStore.com. That's right, free shipping on all orders of $50 or more. But we've signed a new deal with a big national shipping company, and they're able to cut our regular shipping cost by up to 50%. So that means even on orders that are below $50, you're going to be paying way lower than you were previously. This is a game changer. We're so excited about it. Our listeners should really ask for free shipping again. We couldn't afford it before, but by moving to a bigger national distributor, we're able to do it. So now your orders will be shipped even faster, the same great customer service and more. So get huge discounts and free shipping on so many great items at InfoWarsStore.com right now. I want to thank you all for your support, but now there's no excuse to boost your immune system, lead a healthier life.
Sorry for the commercial.
Are actually young noble leaders of the world economic forum. So that we penetrate the cabinets.
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper. That's not a problem. And that's not all the way the conversation was conducted.
Canadians are watching very closely. Obviously, everyone in China should be allowed.
Damn, the Chinese pressed his ass.
Allowed to express themselves, should be allowed to share their perspectives and indeed protest. We're going to continue to ensure that China knows we'll stand up for human rights. We'll stand with people who are expressing themselves. We also need to make sure that China and places around the world are respecting journalists and their ability to do their job.
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China. Because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say, we need to go green as fast.
What the hell? Some wild ass shit.
We need to start, investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about, of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted. That I find quite interesting. regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do with it.
Damn.
Small fringe minority of people
Yeah, Trudeau is a motherfucking piece of work.
who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing
Unacceptable views is crazy.
do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country. We are not intimidated by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans. So to those responsible for this behavior, it needs to stop. The Emergencies Act will be used to strengthen and support law enforcement agencies at all levels across the country.
As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order.
Justin Trudeau, I mean, I thought he was kind of a cool guy. Then I started to read what he said. This is a couple of weeks ago. He was, or maybe this is September, but he was talking about people who are not vaccinated. He said they don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist. No, they're not.
That was not smart of him at all.
Right. He said, but they take up space. And with that, we have to make a choice in terms of a leader as a country. Do we tolerate these people? It's like, now you do sound like Hitler.
Well, the Bill of Rights is a stumbling block on the way to shutting down speech that the left doesn't like, at least in government. But there's a new avenue for those who would like to censor what you say and think, and that's corporations. The left have wised up to this. If you want to stop someone from telling the truth, use companies to do it, the social media giants, and they are.
For many on the left, the view seems to have become that if you can't beat them, prevent them from speaking.
So far, the most prominent casualty of the crusade against free expression has been the radio show host Alex Jones.
There is a concerted effort by the Democratic Party and multinational corporations and big tech to silence conservative and nationalist and populist voices.
There's also guys on CNN that spend their whole day calling Facebook and saying, can you ban this person?
He may be America's best-known conspiracy theorist, but this week, Alex Jones's content will be a little harder to find.
Shame on the mainstream corporate media for not defending the First Amendment, but instead attack dogging, calling for federal regulators to shut down independent free press, working with big tech.
People know what's true. They can smell it.
INFOWARS, the most banned network in the world.
In a free country, everyone can be heard. In totalitarian societies, only the powerful can be heard.
All right.
Appear to have been styled by Russian stylist Lada Volkova, a highly celebrated stylist in the fashion.
Oh wow, so they finna get into some deep shit. I don't know when Kanye is coming back. Hold up.
Industry who works for Vogue.
This is interesting, but might just fast forward in the interest of time.
Adidas, Chanel.
By having BDSM bears photographed with children.
It's almost like we got Ye here. The whole.
And if we someday find that we do, what are we going to do about this evil? Reporting for
that one's
InfoWars,
crazy.
this is Greg Reese.
And then that logo, where's that logo? Because it's like the triangle with, two R's, facing opposite of each other, which kind of makes like, I don't know, almost like this sunglasses effect right here. I don't know what this logo is about, but I don't know. A lot of triangles in this bitch.
It's almost like we got Ye here. The whole building's just crazy. Alex Jones here, back live with Ye. Nick Fuentes riding shotgun, and we're going to get Laura Loomer on the line. He didn't want to wear an earpiece. That's fine. We're going to call her on his phone in like 10 minutes or so. So we'll get to you, Laura. But he wants to get her on, so that's great. We'll get her on. Ye, let me bring up, since you guys want to get on this topic, the meeting with Trump. They're now using it against Trump. They're misrepresenting who Nick is, and I think that's fair to say. And they're lying about you, and they're trying to make it the new reason that DeSantis should be the 2024 front runner. And I like DeSantis in many ways, but I don't like who he's aligning with, all these big donors, and him playing along with this. It's very troubling. So tell us about the meeting and what really happened there.
Nick, you have the minutes on it.
That's right. So it's where to begin. Well, I want to set the record straight, first of all, because there was a big piece in NBC the other day written by Mark Caputo with a lot of lies about the dinner. And I don't know if people were misquoted or if bad quotes were given, but people are being led to believe that this was somehow a setup or an ambush to make the president look bad. That's not true. Ye loves Trump. I love Trump. We came to the dinner to have a discussion with him about the 2024 race. Ye had a proposition for him. And so a lot of it was really put together in the last minute. I didn't even really know until I was at Mar-a-Lago whether or not we would be at the dinner. It was something that Ye and I discussed on the flight there and on the car ride over. So I just want to get that cleared up straight away because I think Ye and I both believe that Trump is a great option. It really just comes down to Trump and Ye for the most part.
But them trying to premeditatedly claim it was some secret meeting and he knew he was meeting with you, that's not true.
No, yeah. And it was surprising because we had this conversation the day before we flew out. We were in LA on that Monday, and I was told it may not even be possible for you to get into Mar-a-Lago. They said, because there's so many people that will intercept you. There's a guest list and you have to be on it, and there's a security list and all these things. So I was told that I may not even be able to get through. Well, we pulled up to the club. They checked out Ye. They checked out Karen's ID and information. We drove up. We walked in. We sat down in the lobby. The president came out of the dining room. And that was that. He invited Ye to dinner. And I don't know if it was Ye or Trump, but one of them said, well, we want to bring Jamar, Karen, and Nick into the dining room. And so we came in, we sat down. Well, we took some pictures. Ye sort of lit up the whole room. Everybody wanted to get a picture with him. We sat down at the table. And I want to say initially it was a very pleasant dinner. Trump gave kind of the standard black voter pitch. He talked about the HBCUs, the opportunity zones, things like that. And then it turned out that Ye had accidentally sent a text message to a lawyer that both Trump and Ye share and forwarded him some intel that Karen gave to us about how we were going to handle the Trump meeting and how to read his body language and the kinds of things that maybe we should avoid or things we might want to say. And so before the dinner, Ye accidentally forwarded that to a lawyer who then in the middle of the dinner apparently called Trump to say, hey, Karen Giorno's involved. This is a setup. You guys are being set up right now. It was really just based on a misunderstanding. And after that call, he...
Who's this lawyer?
Do you mind if I say the name?
Yes.
It's yes, you. So he was texting
I don't mind. I don't mind any names. Okay. I think that's the general. Just let him finish the entire story.
So this is background to the Trump meeting, just so you guys are following. We're all watching it at the same time. I haven't seen it. You guys haven't seen it. I'm bringing it to you.
Pulled up in the car and Ye said, here, I'll forward you these notes. So he forwarded it to me and I said, hey, I didn't get the text. And we kind of brushed it off, and we found out later he meant to send it to Nicholas Fuentes. He sent it to Nicholas Gravante on accident. So the dinner was actually very pleasant. It was very friendly. Ye picked out a song to play. He put on Say You Will off of 808s. And then Trump said, oh, I don't know, let's put on one of your hits. So he put on Stronger. It was very congenial. Well, then in the middle of the dinner, Trump gets this call because Nick Gravante apparently sent the text to one of Trump's guys or somebody. Somebody called Trump and said, Karen is giving Ye intel because Karen worked for Trump. She ran the state of Florida during the Republican primary in 2016. And so he got the heads up. They saw.
I don't know what happened. My screen just kind of blacked out, so I paused it, but we're going to continue.
Some of his black constituents had betrayed him. He told the story about how he got ASAP Rocky out of jail. He told the story about how he got the NBA basketball players out of the Chinese jail.
Yeah, I mean, he's not lying. Trump did do a lot for the community, at least celebrities in the community, and I think the overall like employment rate from the community was higher amongst Trump. You know, that is true. That is indeed true. Okay. Trump was showing love to the community. He got Kodak, he got the Ball brother, he got ASAP Rocky from Sweden or Switzerland, one of those, because he got to fighting over there, and now ASAP Rocky is facing attempted murder charge or aggravated assault charge, something like that. He was doing a lot.
And the moral of the story was, if you go against me, if you're disloyal to me, I'll crush you. That was kind of the subtext of the stories from Trump. He said that Kim Kardashian, he said some nasty things about her because she endorsed Joe Biden after Trump released, what is it, Alice
Johnson.
Alice Johnson from prison. He commuted her sentence and then gave her a pardon. So he felt betrayed by that.
Yeah, so I guess Alice Johnson, I'm not, let me see. Alice Johnson, pardon. So who is this? Did Kim Kardashian try and get her out of jail too, and then Trump helped out? Cocaine trafficking in Memphis, sentenced to life in prison. How much bread was she making though? Wow. Just trying to get a little background on her. Okay. So she's a sister. I guess Trump felt like the community was going to back him for releasing all these brothers and sisters out of prison.
And then Ye made the proposition and said, hey, I'd like you to be my running mate in 2024. And Trump
I gave him the opportunity. I didn't say I would like him to. I said you have the opportunity.
Right. Yes.
To be my running mate in 2024.
Yes.
And, would he wear a mask as well, though?
I think it would look cool.
Said he'd think it looked cool.
I do think it looks cool. So he sat back and folded his arms and he kind of smirked and he sort of dismissed it. But then he got a little bit heated and he said, you can't win. You'll never win. Don't run. You can win at a lot of things, but you can't win at this. And then he turned to me and Karen and said, you guys are smart. I know you work for him, but don't lie to him. Tell him he can't win. And, you know, I love Trump and I love Ye. And so I'm looking at Trump. And then I'm looking at Ye and I'm looking at Trump. And he's telling me.
Nick, they say you're a white supremacist. Are you a white supremacist?
No, not at all.
Well, spend some time on that.
Yeah, you know, I'm a Catholic. I'm Christian, and so I believe that we.
I know that sounds white supremacist right there, but it's not. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I believe that we're all children of God, and so I think that black, white, red, brown, whatever, we're all siblings in a certain sense because we're created by God. I do, though, believe that there are races. There are black people, there are white people, there are Hispanics, and these differences mean something to people. They mean things to each other. That doesn't mean that we can't get along. That doesn't mean.
But the left's saying it's bad to even have a culture. They're saying none of us.
They mean things to our DNA, or our DNA makes them mean things. So yeah,
can say I'm this or I'm that.
Right. They want to melt us all down. That's what globalization is. They want to globalize the government, the economy, and the population. They want a global government. They want to globalize.
Throughout this whole interview, if Kanye would have just like backed off the Hitler shit, he probably still would have been good, but he stood 10 toes on that.
Is the economy through free trade.
With no culture.
Exactly. And the population through immigration. And they want to make it so that in 50, 100 years, there are no distinct nations. There's no distinct peoples.
So nobody can stand up to them.
Right. Just a slave class, undifferentiated. That's what they want.
This is the future president you're talking to right now.
Is Nick your running mate?
He's not old enough.
Yeah, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 24. Maybe in a few cycles.
I think Nick is just like getting experience from if Kanye is really going to launch a campaign, I think him working with Kanye is just going to be like an internship damn near. Obviously, there's no way he can genuinely in his mind believe that Kanye could win the presidency. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's impossible, but I don't see that shit happening at all.
And Trump loved Nick. He looked at me and said, find this kid. He had no idea until, what's the guy that wrote the speech that you didn't like?
Jason Miller.
Jason Miller lied afterwards after they found out who you were. And what did Jason say in the press to start off? Because it started to be like a series of lie after lie after lie and fake. It wasn't a tweet. It was the truth social after truth social after truth social. So give them the rundown on that.
Yeah, so initially, we didn't publish anything about the dinner. It was rumored that Ye went to dinner with Trump. Then it was rumored that I was at the dinner because I walked through the airport in Miami. Then there was a statement from Jason Miller, who spoke as a representative for Trump, and he said, well, Nick Fuentes was not at the dinner. And it was only at that point, which was a lie, it was only at that point when we began to respond. And Ye said, he can't say that. Nick was at the dinner. That was a lie.
But I mean, I actually like the speeches that Jason Miller wrote. Maybe, I mean, he was just scared.
Who was scared? Trump?
No, I mean, I think Miller thinking it was a setup, but I mean, I think that's what they thought. They thought, oh, this is a setup. And I think that's where that fear came from.
But okay, but people got to stop lying. Our leaders, our politicians have to stop being afraid and being so political, and we have to put Christ first. And if anything comes from this, like the best thing that could come from this is I'm the president of the United States in 2024. The worst thing that could come from this is our leaders are held to Christian values, not Zionist values. Now, let's talk about the difference of Trump's truth socials.
Yeah. So he put out 3 successive posts. There's 3 responses from Trump on Truth Social, and they just get more sort of erratic as the pressure grows. The first one, he says, it was a very uneventful dinner. I did meet with Ye. The next post was, I don't know who Nick Fuentes was, and it was totally uneventful. The third one, he says, Ye, a very troubled man who happens to be black, came for badly needed advice. And so it just kept getting more and more sort of angry and erratic. And I think what Ye's getting at, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but Trump is surrounded by handlers. He's surrounded by people like Jared Kushner and Jay.
That is true now. See, I know a lot of people love Trump, but he got handlers as well. He's trying to win. He's trying to do his thing, but he definitely has handlers.
Jason Miller, he's got 3 campaign managers.
Jared Kushner bailed because he got what he wanted out of Trump, right? What did Jared do when Trump was in office?
He got the Abraham Accords. Jared Kushner with his best friend, Bibi Netanyahu, at 666 Fifth Avenue. They brokered the Abraham Accords, which opened up investment from the Gulf states into Israel.
What did Netanyahu have to say about it exactly?
Netanyahu loves it, of course, because this.
But let's expand on that.
I love Jerry. Hey, this is Ned. Okay.
No, keep going. My point is that it's fair, though, for Trump that it is a political attack to claim that he endorses or represents even the views they claim you hold that you don't hold. So clearly, you can see how the media is using you guys as an attack on Trump.
They're using us to try to put this guy we've never heard of, DeSantis, in office. Like, DeSantis is going to play by the book. The thing about Trump is this guy is one of the best presidents we have. He's top 5 presidents. He's right there with Ronald Reagan. And he was a Wharton grad. He's one of the best businessmen of all time. And the entire time he was the president, the Jewish media attacked him. They were mad because...
I mean, unacceptable dinner is crazy. Like, he can't sit down and have dinner with people. I mean, what the fuck? That's wild.
He was actually working for the country, and now they're doing everything, including this meeting, to try to say he's not allowed to meet with. This is INFOWARS. Who are you to say who the president can meet with? Netanyahu. Like, I'm not gonna. The Holy Spirit fills me up, and the less sin I have, the less angry I get. So you can't make me angry, but if I was another version of Ye, the Kanye West that you guys know, I would be angry at Netan for even speaking on one of the best presidents, one of our best presidents of all times. Shut the bless up Net.
Shut the black
This is
up.
from Ye. Now you know who I am. Do you know who I am now, Netanyahu? You know who I am now, Jared Kushner? You know who I am, Josh Kushner? Let me tell you something about Softy Josh, right? Marshmallow Josh was at a dinner. I'm at Jared's house, Jared and Ivanka's house. And I didn't realize at the dinner that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which was my ex-wife clothing line, which I have 5%.
Shout out to Eric with the $10 Cash App. Says great work. Thanks, brother.
And it's one of the reasons why, even after the attack where Ari Emanuel had all of my deals destroyed, I was still worth $400 million, right? And still had $250 million of cash available, right? So, Josh, I say, what do you think about Jared working for me in 2024? And Josh looks at Jared and says, oh, I would kill him. And so then towards the end of the meeting, I'm leaving their apartment. They do it like a soft hug because I think like Jared, as soft as Jared is, he has to hug Josh extra soft so, you know, he doesn't melt like toilet paper. And what I realized afterwards that Josh had 10% of a line that I only had 5%, double, where I, you know, Skims is an extension of Yeezy. It's an
Damn, yeah. So that is kind of wild that Josh Kushner has 10% of the Skims Kim Kardashian clothing line, I guess, and then Kanye only has 5%, and he's her husband. Yeah, that's wild.
An extension of my brand. Literally, I put the creative director from Yeezy at Skims because at first Skims was a lingerie line. And then it was Kris Jenner's idea to make it a shapewear line. And I said, I have the perfect person. Let's take these elements of Yeezy and let's put this here. And then Josh goes in and puts $150 million from investment firm to then control something that my ex-wife was making for our children.
No, I get it. So you're at this meeting and literally realizing, oh my God, I own this and ran this. This guy's double what I get. You didn't even know he was the owner.
Yeah, and that's what I explained to Jared. I was on text with Jared. I said, what if I had 10% of a line with Ivanka and you didn't know and you only had 5%? I'm sure you.
But what if he learned you own 10% of 666 Park Avenue? He'd be pissed.
Or what if I had 10%?
Yeah, that's wild.
And of that 800, how big was the deal that he did after he got out of?
So what you're saying is we need reparations from Hollywood. We need the Hollywood elite that have almost all the money. They need reparations to America.
Wait, I want to talk about how Jared did that first deal.
You hear what I'm saying?
With Netan.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he got billions. And this is something that was covered in the Wall Street Journal. Jared Kushner brokered the Abraham Accords with Netanyahu. And before Trump was even out of office, they were arranging for how Kushner could take a massive fee from.
Okay, but separate from Kushner getting money, I don't like Kushner. He glows in the dark. He's creepy as hell. But I mean, that's a good peace deal to get the Arabs and Jews to quit killing each other. I mean,
but John, I agree with you to some extent. But John,
I mean, actually, that's a pretty. I said that's something good Kushner did. I mean, I don't like Kushner, but
he did it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we got things. Yeah.
And I would say
I'm not defending him. I'm saying, isn't it good to try to get Middle East peace?
Let's ask Nick.
Yeah, Nick, go ahead.
If you want Middle East peace, you have to go to Israel because Israel is the one who has been bombing Syria. Israel's the one that's.
And they got 200 nuclear weapons. They ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. And that's why they killed JFK and RFK was because of they were trying to get their WMD program off the ground. Operation Apollo. It was Jack Kennedy that wanted IAEA inspectors looking into it.
No, and that is probably one of the main. That's one of the reasons Kennedy got killed. That was
what we need to say right now, and we're going to bring Ali on in a second, is both of my parents were educators, right? And we're here as the educators. That's what's in our heart. When we get the information, we put ourselves at risk to give you the information. There's a lot of teachers, incredibly intelligent people that have been canceled and kicked out of universities for not playing along with the system. So stop looking at us like celebrities, like we're trying to get media. We're using our position, putting our finances.
Dubs, he writes a insightful comment. He says, is it true that 1% of people on Earth own 99% of its wealth? That makes excuse me. He said that makes communism sell, in my opinion. Well, yes, but those individuals are communists, and then they on the back end they call other people communists when they're actually communists or fascists or socialists, if whatever the fuck you want to say. They're the actual ones who, you know, ideally believe in this type of government, but they'll call you one because it's a derogatory term. But then because communism is all about centralization. It's you know, opposing decentralization and its centralization of government to pretty much ration out or distribute wealth, which isn't good because you see how the government is handling shit now. So the people who are, you know, promoting communism are most likely, or the people who are, you know, bashing people who speak about free speech as communists are the people who are actually communists. It's weird.
Putting our personal well-being
But yeah, the communism's about government power. It's about the government being in control of pretty much every aspect of your damn life.
at risk to say the truth out loud. And I was on the plane with Nick and I said, it feels like we're in Vietnam in the middle of the war with our backs to the wall, holding our guns and saying, you know, Nick, how did you get here? Yay, how did you get here? Well, all the guns are going off and all the media is going off, and say, this is InfoWars, right? So you got some info warriors on both sides of you, and you fought for us. You've been fighting this battle for a long time, Alex, and we just got to salute you as a Christian and as American, because you paved the way to make braver soldiers like us today. It's like Terminator Part 10 happening right now.
Wow. All right. We got to go to break. We're going to get Laura Loomer on. We're going to get Ollie Alexander up to Manny come on. One of the smartest guys I know in politics. And we're going to just continue. Owen Schroyer is going to come on. We're going to continue on as long as you guys want to go. We'll take breaks and stuff too, and get, you know, Ye to eat something or whatever. Me and Nick got something he hasn't eaten yet, and I
stay fasting.
That's right. He won't eat. I'm trying to get him to eat. So I'm like Italian, manja. So we're gonna.
I gotta watch my accounts because they've been frozen by the Jewish banks. So I need to watch my meals.
Well, CNN says white people are evil Nazis. So I mean, I disagree with both statements, but I get the frozen.
I don't like the word evil next to Nazis. I think we need to look at.
Oh my goodness! Just because you don't like one group doesn't mean the other. But look,
I love Jewish people, but I also love Nazis.
Oh man! Well, I have to disagree with that. But listen, we're gonna go to break. I'm the crazy one here. We're all crazy. The whole world's crazy. And
when Alex Jones is the moderator, you know that this thing is on some wild shit.
The whole power structure is coming down. This is absolutely lit. This is lit. Number one show in the world right now. Everybody's tuned in everywhere. Yay. Everybody, I appreciate you being here. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back and play that my favorite promo with Ye. And then we're going to air the Trudeau clip and then go right back to Ye. Stay with us. Ye is in studio. I'm Alex Jones, your host, Nick Fuentes.
All right, we're
Ollie
back.
Alexander, Owen Schroyer are about to join us riding shotgun. Ye doesn't want to wear an earpiece, so he's going to call Laura Loomer. Yeah, so we're going to put Laura Loomer on the way.
We're almost an hour and a half in. We'll probably have to do a part two. But we'll listen to Laura Loomer.
You're going to be on earlier. Yeah, you're hosting the show. Go ahead.
Laura, can you guys hear Laura on the mic?
What they're doing is they're talking to her out there. I told them 45 minutes ago.
Laura,
so tell her
you on the mic?
Tell her you're going to call her. They didn't do that because it's such a party.
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear her? Laura, say something.
She's not going to.
Laura Loomer.
Yeah, Laura, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How's it going?
You're on the air with Ye. Go ahead. He wants to do it over a speakerphone. Go ahead.
Well, look, I just wanted to call in. You know, I see that everybody on this stream has been canceled in some fashion, and you know, I've also been canceled, and you know, I have a unique perspective because you know, I'm Jewish, and I happen to be one of the most banned and censored people in this country, and so you know, I just wanted to talk about cancel culture and you know, the act of debanking and deplatforming from my perspective, because, you know, I was really one of the first people that experienced all of this cancel culture. And I would just say that, you know, I can sympathize with anybody who's had their voice silenced. I don't think that censorship is the answer, no matter how much you do.
Shout out to Dub. He says, America loves Nazis. They support them to defend Ukraine. Facts. Deluxe says it's ironic that the left calls the right Nazis and then supports actual Nazis in Ukraine. Yeah. A lot of people are not aware of the Nazis in Ukraine, but, you know, you best believe that there are Nazis in Ukraine, and they're definitely getting a lot of arms sent by Biden to defend the country from, or really defend their own interests from Russia.
Disagree with another person, or how offensive you may find their statements or their arguments to be. And what we need in this country is more free speech. And I say that, you know, as a Jewish American woman watching this stream and, you know, watching the plague of cancel culture that has really swept not just our country, but the entire world over these last few years. And I will say that being Jewish has never saved me from being canceled. It never stopped the banks from shutting down my access to my bank account.
Damn, they did it to her too. Now that's wild. Damn, I better tread lightly then. Shit.
Being Jewish never, you know, prevented me from becoming, like I said, the most banned woman in the world. So I just wanted to make it clear that, you know, while, you know, there's no disputing the fact that groups like the ADL and AIPAC and, you know, powerful, you know, left-wing Jewish individuals, and in some cases, right-wing Jewish individuals themselves are advocating for cancel culture. There are Jews themselves who have also been canceled.
Yeah, you shouldn't be penalized for what other people done. Martin Luther King said that, and I agree with it. So yeah, you called yourself more like Martin Luther King the other day than Malcolm X. I tend to agree with that. I like Malcolm X. I've read his writings, listened to him, incredibly smart intellectual. He was downtrodden. He was telling people to stand up. He was an amazing revolutionary for his time, an amazing man. But I think Martin Luther King was more powerful, and even Malcolm came around to his worldview of thinking. So my issue is, it's the same thing we're talking about here, is that, you know, Laura Loomer has been censored, Laura Loomer has been attacked, and Israel has the most draconian COVID shots against their population of any group. So I'm saying, why aren't they exempt? Because there's a criminal group posing as them. Christ talked about this. That is trying to manipulate and pose as the leadership of every group. There's groups that claim they lead the black folks that aren't caring about blacks.
True.
There's groups that claim they care about white people that aren't really caring. There's groups that claim they're Jewish that don't. I think that's really what we're talking about. Do you disagree?
I agree. And as I talk about, I think about it, it's like, I gotta say, I love the Zionists. I love the people that blocked my bank account, because God runs the world and uses everyone. There's a power structure under God that starts with the 1,000-year-old families such as the Medicis. Then it goes to the Vatican, which is in bloodline to Peter, not Paul. Then it goes to the financial groups, BlackRock, Vanguard, and then to the governments, where we can go into Putin territory. And then it goes to Hollywood, the Rahm Emanuel. That is the first smokescreen to get past. And we're just breaking down those smoke screens. Hey, Ari, how you doing, Ari?
Hey, I want to jump in really quick, and I will say.
This nigga.
Yeah, Laura, you're on the
air. I think he hung up on her.
Oh, go ahead.
The blacklisting of, you know, people like Ye, people like Alex Jones, people like Nick Fuentes, people like myself. You know, everybody watching should understand we're living in a dangerous time now.
Oh, yeah.
Where people are being shut down and having their money frozen. Okay, imagine not being able to access your bank account.
Yeah, and that's bullshit.
Because somebody in a boardroom decides that they don't agree with what you're saying. And so, you know, for people who are critical, you know, of Ye, Nick, Alex, myself, or whoever, right? Just think of how fast the tables could turn. And I think this is what you've been talking about for years, Alex. You've been warning people about what's coming for years. And now...
Yeah, Alex Jones been talking about this shit.
People want to act like, oh, well, how did we get to this point? Censorship is the reason why we've got to this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, these things wouldn't be happening if people weren't being censored.
Well, sure, Laura, can I ask you this question? Because, you know, you're a smart, you know.
And censorship has been happening. I mean, it's even been happening since the early 20th century, where you had the elites during that time who, you know, some of them happen to be individuals from the small hat community. But they were buying up all of the news media, and, even presidents had spoken against this and said how, the same interests who own the banks shouldn't be owning the media. It was a lot of crazy things going on when it comes to the tilt of power in the world. And now we're kind of living with those remnants of the actions that were taken in the past, and it's only getting worse.
Successful, pro-America Jewish lady that it's an American that lives in Florida. From my experience studying what goes on in politics, aren't Jews like everybody else, like left-wing, right-wing, and different factions fighting with each other and everybody else, like any other group? I mean, I understand there's powerful groups in Hollywood and all these mafias, but it's like we don't blame Italians for the Italian mafia. And when I criticize the Jewish mafia, which is one of the most powerful in the world, which I don't like, I don't dislike because they have to be Jewish, I have because they're a mafia. That's
Right. That's the correct line of thinking.
really how I think we destigmatize it. Just say no to the mafia that is the ADL in Hollywood. Or do you disagree with that or agree? Or
And it ain't just the ADL in Hollywood. It's in law. It's in business. It's in accounting. It's in many different aspects. Real estate. We could go on and on, but.
You want to say something?
Look, there's factions within any group, all right? I don't think that you can really generalize any group. I think that when you look at the demographics of Jews in America, over 73% of Jews vote Democrat. And so when you see a lot of, people making decisions who happen to be Jewish, it's coming from a left-wing perspective. But
Yeah,
I'm a nationalist.
true.
I'm a nationalist, and I'm Jewish, and I've
Is she pregnant in this picture?
been a very strong supporter of President Trump.
And that's the question. Why were they so scared of you? Because you've been as much banned as me or even more. I mean, they have come after you. Why are they scared of Laura Loomer?
Because I'm a free speech absolutist, and regardless of what somebody may say, even whatever they may say about Jews or whatever they may have to say about Israel or Judaism, I'm not going to advocate for anybody to be silenced, anybody to be banned, or anybody to have their accounts shut down or their money frozen simply because of their viewpoints. This is America, and we need to promote free speech absolutism, and we need our politicians to start promoting free speech absolutism. And this is what I ran when I ran for Congress twice in Florida.
Nigga said she was big bone. Nunya said she was big bone. I don't know.
First time in Trump's home district, which was actually the most Jewish district in the country. And then most recently in District 11, I ran on a campaign of free speech absolutely.
No, I know you do. So what about a First Amendment or a Bill of Rights party? Well, that could transcend party lines. What about a free speech, pro to self-defense, a First Amendment, Second Amendment party? I mean, how do we fix this, Ye?
We fix this with the word of Christ. The first book of Moses called Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
This nigga just cracked open the first page of the Bible. Lord have mercy.
The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. That's where we start.
And they know that. That's why Prometheus shows that. All right, Laura, thank you so much. Thank you. Closing comments or yay? I want to move on to Ollie and
thank
folks.
you very much for calling and talk later. Thanks a lot.
All right, so good. That's good.
All right, we are at 1:28:54. Let me just mark that. We'll continue this probably tomorrow, guys. I gotta go ahead and go. Man, this shit is super entertaining. It's actually pretty hilarious. Where he went wrong was the Hitler shit, but other than that, it's entertainment. We're not saying that he's smart he's smart in his own way, but I can't really get behind Kanye like that too heavily. But it was a very interesting video there. Very interesting interview. I still fuck with Ye as like an individual and whatnot. He's one of the few rappers who hasn't caught a body yet. So, and I, enjoy his music. I'll still listen to his music. This doesn't really change anything for me. But I will say that I think he needs to kind of sit down and gather his thoughts and really understand what he believes in. Guys, this channel is officially demonetized, so make sure you go and check out the backup channel, BGZM News 17. If you want to support me for the long haul, subscribe to the Patreon. Also, you can buy the merch. You can send a PayPal. You can send a Cash App. Any donation helps. You can hit that GoFundMe. We're trying to raise funds to support independent media because, as you can see, censorship is heavy and independent media is extremely needed in this time. So anyways, you already know what it is. We are going to go ahead and send it to Jinquavius to take us away. I appreciate everybody joining the stream, and anybody who's watching the stream afterwards. Make sure you leave a comment right after the stream ends. And we are going to get out of here. It's your boy, Black Gen Z Mindset, BGZM News 17, a.k.a. Jinquavius Jackson. Peace.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more
shit
do
off.
you want from me?
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.